The fine print said probation bound, but the law don't quit till they hunt you down. Blue lights flashing, boots on the floor. They came knocking hard and they kicked in the door. Cops rolled up, said we know he's inside, but my girl stood tall with a stone cold lie. She said he ain't here, you best move along, but the smoke in the air sang a different song. Steel toe stomped through the drywall dust, red team swarming like a swarm of rust. I hit the back door, tore across the yard, heart beating heavy, running fast and hard, kicking in doors, dragging me down, from the fine print straight to the ground. Love held strong, but it broke her back. Now the system's laughing while it stays on track. They cut my girl while the neighbors stare. Kids crying loud, but the cops don't care. Social worker grinning like a wolf at the gate. Took my babies off, now they walk to the state. I'm hiding in the backwoods, paranoid and worn. Wanted posters nailed where the signs were torn. Whiskey in my gut, powder in my veins. One step ahead, but it's driving me insane. Kicking in doors, wrecking my life. Took my kids and they jailed my wife. Random dirt roads, burning hide, but the long arm of the law don't miss a shot. Hey. Months on the run from the fine print snare. Fake IDs floating in the midnight air. Every night I dream of a knock so loud when the law comes crashing like a thundercloud. Pennsylvania steel, now I'm locked down tight. Concrete bed and a figure of light. From dirt road free to a number and chain. State prison walls pound the outlaw brain. Kicking in doors, dragging me down. Lost my blood and I lost my town. Old city hillbillies still won't break, but they'll bury me deep in a Keystone State. Hey! Violation, citation, crooked foundation. Family torn apart in a fucked up nation. The fine print called me, the doors came next. Now I'm branded a number, no name, no telephone.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control. Late night in Moscow when I
fall, fusion ride, under surveillance, nowhere to hide. Influence creeps like blood on the floor. Fine line between peace and war. From campus to crypt, the script flips tragic, mystic and twisted, magic turn manic. All crew lingers, but the echo remain. Chains of the slain in eternal pain.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
Let's get it, Hive. Happy Friday, everybody. I've been looking forward to this all damn week. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. Welcome to the Hive Mind. On Fridays, the reason why I'm so excited is I take calls from the chat, and they're always awesome. You never know what you're going to get. It's a little bit of like a hidden gem generator is what I've seen people call them in the comments, and I think that's a very accurate name for that. However, if you are new here, you might be a little bit surprised that we don't just follow what the mainstream media says about the Idaho 4 case. We like to question the narratives, think past the headlines, and so I would guess that a lot of the callers are going to be dropping their own theories tonight on what they believe happened. And as you all are filing in, please go ahead, do all of the things, hit like, hit subscribe. Give me a second here to get the link to call in pinned at the top of the chat. The chat's already moving so fast. I can barely pin it. I love it. And I will put this full screen. If you'd like to screenshot this so that after the live concludes, all you got to do is go to your Photos app, tap on the QR code. That will bring up all of the Hive merch, the Spotify playlist, my TikTok, as well as the Discord, which I would highly recommend that you join. The mods will also be dropping the Hive Plus link. If you see the awesome emojis in the chat, that is how people are using them. So thank you to everybody who does choose to support this stream financially. There will be no Hive Plus stream this Saturday. However, on Saturdays, probably 1 or 2 times a month, I will go live on Saturdays, and the chat will be reserved just for the Hive Plus members. The other announcement, Hive, is that we are having a 4th of July sale. Luna Bliss crushed this new t-shirt design. Says no rich men on death row. And we had a recommendation as well for a long sleeve for the people who have long hair in here and the hoodies don't work. So that is going on now for this remainder of the weekend. And so thank you to everybody who does check out the merch. All of the designs are created by people here in the Hive. Not sure if many people know that. And let me go ahead and see who's all tuning in. But before I do, actually, I forgot to stop the poll in the beginning of the chat. And as I'm grabbing these results, Hive, as a reminder, all you got to do is just tap the link that's pinned at the top of the chat to call in. You will not be on camera. Type whatever name you'd be comfortable with me seeing backstage. If you are on camera backstage, I'm the only person that'll see it in just a little thumbnail square. But you will not be on camera. Say whatever you want, as long as you're not trolling, spamming, or threatening. Same goes for the chat. You got the best mods on YouTube, being Discord Dog, Luna Bliss, UFO Dog, and formerly known as Back. Now, the result of the poll, the question that I had asked was, which theory sounds the most insane, but might actually explain everything? And I had the AK hit, being the Aryan Knights, WITSEC, aka Witness Protection, the Psycho Killer card game that we went through, and then I had the option of other and typed that answer in the chat. So thank you to everybody who did vote. Let's see who's all tuned in as the backstage is starting to fill up. Growth Redacted, good to see you. Living Dead Girl, IMX's Booger on the Resolute desk, pretty much at 4 a.m. UK Karen. Jello can never be creme brulee. Love it. Lisa West, Holly, great to see you. Lovely Me, Tripsy Turvy, Lou Stone, SP Nikita, Pedro Pony, Crazy Bird Lady, love it, says going shopping, BRB. Danger Zone, yeah, Luna crushed that. Kreger, Oceans 1111, Michelle Jess, hey, what's up, hello. Corgi Mama, Philly Girl, Gramilla, Renee, shout out to the mods, formerly known as Beck, UFO Dog. Seems Stable said, so not a theory, but eerie, that rhymes. I deliver mail in North Alabama, and yesterday there was some type of golf tournament going on, and one of the stops had a Visit Idaho tent set up, and all I could think was, nope, Well, I don't blame you at all. Idaho may be the closest thing to a portal of hell that exists on this planet. Mariko, Golden Cheek Unredacted, how you doing? D for real said other population control. Mom Red, I made me mom's car. Cindy Martini, UK Carrot, Eagles Girl, Lexa, Scout, Splendid, and UK Kaylee, Redact My Student Loans, Tam Cam, a Duck on Quack said, Happy Friday, Birdie. Hello, everyone. Mods and HR Bellamicia. Pieces of April. So I got a couple quick announcements, and then we will be diving into the calls. I want to get through a ton of them this evening, so nobody's rushing you, but try to be concise. Think about what it is that you want to say. If you do want me to pull something up that's easily accessible, right? And by easily accessible, I mean you had emailed me it prior. Maybe it's a well-known video on YouTube that's just a quick search. More than happy to do that if it gets your point across. We're also not just going to watch the video if it's that long either. I want to hear from you all. And moving on to the other announcements, Hive, super excited for Monday. So I was able to purchase the body cam and then also the dash cam that Detective Payne set up and actually drove possible routes that Koberger took. And so I had purchased both of them, and I actually am taking the time right now to sync them up perfectly so that we can watch both the right passenger side window view, because they're pointing the body cam out of that window, and also the dash cam. So I got it pretty close. And I have a little bit of a clip here that I was able to get synced up. So that's my project this weekend so that we can react to this live on Monday. So, oops. Here we go. This is about a 1.5 minute clip. I find it very interesting, just some of their conversations, where they drive, because it's not just in the King Road area. They go all over the place. They redact this, which is crazy. Blur tool.
Oscar 77, next rotational fill for the BMW, please. Heavy front end damage and at least one tire down.
So anyways, they have a lot of interesting radio chatter. Now, this was done on March 15th of 2023. And I find that very odd. Well, I actually don't find it very odd, but this is after Brian Koberger's been arrested, but they did I'm trying to remember now the date of the test footage. Either way, it's just kind of interesting that they went back in March and they did Koberger's routes, but in the test footage, remember when they recreated it? Wouldn't they have technically been doing Koberger's routes then, at least in the King Road area? So a lot of interesting radio chatter, a lot of interesting conversations with whoever else is in the car with him. And like I said, I will be working on getting those views totally synced up. It's about a 38-minute video when they are sunk up, however the hell you say that. But that's what we're going to be watching and reacting to on Monday, this upcoming Monday. All righty. Now, Hive, if you had to guess who do you believe is going to be this evening's first caller, I have a great feeling about this call. Shawley, how are you doing?
We've been expecting you, Mr. Birdie.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I was slightly impressed with the way that I did the music for editing that. It sounded like the intro of the movie James Bond.
Well, I was going to play the intro, but we looked it up and realized that it is obviously copyright. We didn't want to get you a copyright strike, so we didn't. But I had to start it off that way.
No, I appreciate that. That's awesome. What do you got for us this evening?
Well, there's quite a lot, actually. I'm going to be as quick as I possibly can. But Karmic Retribution has massively impressed me this week. Karmic's
in the Hive a lot.
Yeah, she did a drive I think it was about a month ago now. She did a drive through of Moscow. She actually went and drove, and Pullman. She drove around the house, where the house used to be. She drove around so much of it, and I don't know if you saw in the Hive Mind finds on Discord earlier, but there's someone that's sort of been in the peripheral for me for a while, which is Elijah Hall, who was sorry, my dog is playing with a bone in the background.
No worries.
Yeah, he was a filmmaker, and obviously there's been the rumor about it being filmed, and I did wonder if maybe he did that. And while she was in Moscow, Elijah Hall was following her. I'm not joking. Seriously, you need to watch the footage. Obviously, it's alleged. It might not actually be him, but seriously, if you look at videos of him, you look at the way that he moves, you look at the way he looks, it's definitely him, in my opinion. And the license plate was obscured. Like yeah, exactly the same black truck that she said she saw the first time she went to that area. And the same black truck that we see in the footage, in my opinion, as well.
Oh, wow.
As much as it could be a white Elantra, obviously. It's quite interesting. Like, you really should watch that. It's quite a long video, but if you go sort of close to the end, you'll see that she's actually...
One.
Yeah,
it's
if
the
you go...
Angels in the Morning one. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, if there's... Oh, she's in here. Oh, hi, Karmic.
Oh, there you are, Karmic.
Yeah, I was incredibly impressed, Karmic. Thank you so much. But yeah, she obviously is going to be better to tell you about Elijah. But as I say, he's been in my periphery, and then watching her video, I was like, that, to me anyway, in my opinion, that is definitely him that followed her. It was very, very interesting. Yes, definitely call in and share. That'd be amazing. So obviously the Pete thing, I know you saw my comment the other day. Having gone into a deep dive, I don't know if you know about Travis, the guy that's been on Bronx True Crimes recently.
The speech guy, he's the one that can read language. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from him, watching the way that he breaks down interview transcripts and things. And I rewatched Pete's interviews, and there are some very telling parts on the interviews, and obviously I still believe that there's guilt with a lot of them. I'm not saying that, because this is the newest person that's come out, I'm hitching my carriage to that. But something very interesting again that Karmic did was, you remember when I lined up the footage with the audio on my video on my channel? She did that, but she also lined up the text messages. And on the footage where we hear, "Whoa, Ethan," and then we hear, "Xana, Xana," that's the same time that Xana texts Pete, "You'd good." Yeah, that was my face as well.
And Jesus, I got to just get this off my chest too. The new pictures that I think came from Connor. Somebody in our Discord posted it with Xana's bracelet potentially over at
Yes.
the Whites on the grounds. Is that where you were going with this?
Well, I've surgically looked at that, and I 100% believe the beads are in the same alignment. It's the same kind of bracelet, everything. Yes. And I think that we were on the right track before with something happening to Ethan on that road. I think maybe Ethan got the text saying she's being cheated on. Maybe Pete was being a bit friendly with her that night. He confronted Pete. Maybe Pete hit him or something, and then Pete darted off. Xana was like, "Whoa, don't, don't go." She chased after him. Then we hear Xana, because someone's trying to get her to come back, and she can't catch up to Pete. So she then texts him saying, "You good?" That's what I've put together so far. I feel like it would make a lot of sense, and I do believe that Pete's a lot more involved than we've thought, and I do believe that that bracelet is Xana's. Oh, sorry, my husband's asking me what kind of combination. Oh, Whitcomb. Yeah, so remember Whitcomb said not that combination as well.
Yes.
So I believe, I don't know if Xana was doing something with Pete. I don't know, but you're being cheated on, and then Pete was out with them that night. You know, they were at Sigma Chi together that night. And the whole relationship is really weird, and the way that he speaks about it, and like if you talk to his friends, none of them will say that they were in they had a relationship, but we know from what other people have said that they did have a relationship before her and Ethan. So it doesn't make sense to me unless this is true.
I would agree with that. I think, and you got a lot of people agreeing with you too, that there's a lot of, or like that theory makes a lot of sense. I can't help but when I listen to you lay it out, when I listen to the interview that Pete did, or many of the other frat kids, or just anytime that there's a student or a younger person talking, I can't help but think to myself, is this a normal, when I say a normal drunk night for them, right? Meaning, think back to college, drama, hookups, drinking. Chris Whitcomb, you had brought him up. He had also said, in addition to that, you know, it's what you do at that age. Does that mean like morally you're not right or something? Do you remember that little tangent he kind
Yeah,
of
I
went
do.
on, like almost defending it? So I'm like, is it just, when I say coincidental, you know, I never use that word lightly, but is there a chance that there was a ton of stuff going on that night? There was drama, but it really, that part was just kind of confined to Ethan, Xana, and Pete, and that's why they're not pursuing it? I don't know.
I don't know, and I think the way that the officer speaks to Pete in his second interview really, really hits me hard, especially, as I say, after looking at Travis and the way that he does things. The officer is asking him for help with profiling
I know.
in the second interview, and it's like, what the hell? And the way that he talks to him, it's almost like, we already know, let's have a little play here. And it's nasty, and I don't enjoy it at all. It really, him more than anybody else, when he speaks, I get prickles on the back of my neck. I don't like it. There's something very strange about him, and obviously I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to, you know, if he is completely innocent and he didn't have anything to do with the killings and stuff, then, you know, I don't want any shade coming to him, but
Of course.
there's something about him that just gives me the heebies. Yeah, and it's just, sorry, my husband's gesturing me again. What
No,
name?
while he's talking to you, let me just pull this photo up. This is from Pepperoni 91. You guys are going to see this again on you're going to see this again on Monday for a Hive Mind find. So Pepperoni, just know that this is not
Oh yeah, pepperoni was, yeah.
the official Hive Mind find, but I'm just trying to get this set up so you all could see just how crazy similar these photos are. I mean, all right, I almost got
And I
it set
hadn't
up.
realized that there was that much blood at the Whites either. I knew that there was some, obviously we've heard about it, but I didn't realize there was that much. There's so much of it.
Oh, it's wild. And here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Right up here.
Now I've made jewelry in my spare time, and the fact that you've got that long thread, and then you've got, you know, the black, then you've got the blue bead. It's exactly the same bracelet. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, and if I zoom out of this photo, if I was to, oops,
Yeah.
if I
And
was to
as my
just do
husband just
this,
said, yes, a bracelet like that can easily fall off. I wear one similar myself, but that much blood being near it is really bizarre. Really bizarre.
I mean, come on. To me, it's like something happened there. That looks
Yeah, swipe.
that looks like what you would expect to see on their stairwell. Like that's how
Yeah.
similar it would
It
look.
looks like a finger swipe, and
Yes.
there's blood droplets going along the I don't know what you call that walkway, I guess, as well. Yeah, it's mad, and obviously I've looked at the dumpster pictures that came out in that new load as
They're
well.
shoe covers.
Yeah, there's shoe covers. At first I was like, why is there a blue hairnet? And I looked closer and was like, oh my god, it's the shoe covers. Yeah, it's mad. And obviously, me being me, those bin bags, you can kind of see things inside the bin bag. So I've been sort of zooming right in and checking everything to see if there's anything. And it's like there's a lot of booze boxes and things. There's a lot of lemonade and lemon and lime, Sprite and stuff like that. But there are some very interesting looking items within those bin bags as well. And yeah, it's madness, absolute madness.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Shelly. I hope you and your husband have a phenomenal weekend. I'm going to make one more point, and then I'm going to bring up Jesse Ray backstage. But as always, Shelly, any closing thoughts?
I do have one closing thought, yeah, actually. And it's to do with Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly, Silly Willy. Yeah, I've never encountered such a wanker in my life, frankly.
Oh my
There's so
God.
many. Yeah, as my husband just said, there's a list of wankers in this case, but she is definitely still the top of my list.
Well,
A
Shelly,
shining star of a wanker.
I love it. I always look forward to hearing from you two. Please enjoy your weekend, and I will obviously, hopefully, talk to you next Friday.
Yeah. All right. Speak to you next Friday.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
What an awesome couple, honestly. You just tell they're very kind souls, very smart people. That's awesome. The point that I was going to make about the new photos, I say this not jokingly, but seriously, we got blood, we got potentially a bracelet. Is it odd that Chris Whitcomb brings up a broken bracelet and then photos come out of a broken bracelet? I know that Connor had gotten them. I'm not saying anything nefarious with that, but it's all like falling into place of just this completely different story, which we have guessed is going to happen and has been happening right in front of our eyes for a long time now. And I was going to say, watch there be a K-bar in the dumpster somewhere. They'd be like, nope, we tested it. Just another knife tested, unrelated. It's insane. I would not put it past them that they would try to get away with that. All right. Looking forward to the next caller. Great start with Shawley. And next up, we got Jesse Ray.
Hey, Birdie.
What up? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. But by the way, Dylan's a wanker.
Why that stuck so much? That's because I'm pretty sure the first time too that Shawley said that, she didn't even like think twice about it. She was just like, Dylan's a wanker. And then it stuck.
Yeah, like, and also Dilly Silly Willy. That I was just laughing.
Yes. Well, what do you got for us this evening, Jesse?
I definitely think Xana and Pete were canoodling together.
Okay.
And so Erica had texted Ethan, said, you're getting cheated on. And then Ethan decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go fight him. And then Pete yeeted him in the face. And then Ethan blacked out, like probably got knocked out or something. But I also want to bring up, because I remember that Narcan had to be used on Ethan.
Well,
wasn't there
if
Narcan
it wasn't,
sorry, what?
No, I was just gonna say, as far as, so did you say Narcan? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, Narcan. I think Narcan was being used. Well, it had to be used because I think Ethan had, OD'd, and then everybody was like, "Oh shit, get the Narcan."
Yeah,
so
you were saying in your theory. You were saying in your theory of him ODing. Gotcha.
Yeah, I definitely think that.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the one thing that's not a stretch is whenever people are able to kind of put themselves in the shoes of going back to that age of interpersonal drama. I don't think it's unusual if, best friends or friends, you might get a little bit too touchy or close with somebody's girlfriend. You punch them in the face. Like, I think a lot of people have probably seen that play out or had that happen to them or went and punched somebody in the face, So, but now to lead to killing people, that's wild. That's
a stretch. The fact that they went from fighting somebody to actually killing them, that's just crazy.
Absolutely. Anything else tonight, Jesse?
No, but also Louis. How's Louis doing?
Oh, my cat that I call the Russian oligarch.
Yeah, how is he doing?
Cat. He's good. My other cat just had to have surgery, and we were told that we are not allowed to bring her back, as she is now classified as probably just like a high risk cat to like bring in there from how wild she gets. She's so loving to us, and then she just destroys these vets. I mean, I had to walk out of the room.
My cat does not like the vet. My cat like hisses and growls and gets all big and bad. I'm like, chill. It's not that serious.
Oh, Jesse, you always crack me up. Always great to hear from you. I hope you have an awesome weekend.
You too.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, man. I don't know why. Just the way that she said probably yeeted him in the face. It caused like one of those moments of laughter where it was like, if you think back to when you were in high school in class and you're not supposed to be laughing, then that makes you laugh more. That's essentially what had happened to me. So anyways, next up, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're on your best behavior. HR is coming by to do an audit this evening. We have Miss Bellamicia. How are you doing?
Hey, Birdie. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I sent you an email today of a very short compilation of pictures of the blood that was left at the Whites. And that's what I wanted to speak on today. It seems like every time I get on the phone with you, my chihuahuas want to act up. I don't know. Maybe they have bird fever. I don't know.
Well, so I got to tell you, though, I tried clicking that link. I'm not a part of the group.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, can you pull up? Do you have pictures or available that of the blood that is there at the Whites?
I should have some. I can just go to, I think it's on Connor's page, right?
Yes.
I'll just go to Connor's channel.
So while he's pulling that up, I'm going to tell you what I've been looking at. I've been looking at the blood at the Whites, and I did not realize there was so much blood in the position it was in. And after seeing the blood at the Whites, I come to a theory of it could possibly be that there at the Whites is where the first fight started. Because I believe there was more than one. I believe that Ethan got into a fight there at the Whites. And I believe that was where he was initially stabbed in his hip area, buttock area.
So I believe this could be Ethan's blood.
Yes. I believe that the fight was broken up and that they were on their way to 1122 King Road when they were followed. And back when we were speaking about where could the people have been when you can hear the scream at 226, and I said behind the house there, but before King Road, I believe they were caught up with there. I believe more fault broke out. I believe that he was injured, and I believe he was taken into the house. And I believe that's where the last kill in his subclavian artery stab happened. And he was posed across the bed. I believe his clothes was taken off of him. And I believe that Xana was killed in that room. And I believe her bottoms was taken off of her. I believe by 4 o'clock or whatever time it was when the DoorDash order was made, that it was made during the cover-up. I have an idea of the people that I believe that were involved in the cover up, in the actual murder, and I'm literally going out on all types of limbs trying to find information about this in Moscow. I believe that in the fall that my wife and I are going to actually take a trip to Moscow. I'm going to try to talk to
Yes, you
some
were
people
talking
that are
about that.
there. Yes, I'm going to try to talk
Exciting.
to some people that lived there during that time because all of you must know that most of the people that were there in 2022 at the school, they've graduated. They've went on.
Or they got jobs somewhere else. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
because I was looking at the Latah County employees and Moscow employees, and 10 of those people that worked on this case, including people from the police department and the district attorney's office and the judge, have all what? They have retired.
Yep.
How many people do you know of in a case that retired like that? I can only think of one, and that was the O.J. Simpson case. But
Yep.
I do believe that it was a fight that started between Ethan and some fraternity guys, probably some of his own fraternity brothers. I believe there was a lot of drunkenness going on, and I believe it just got out of hand. And people say, well, if that happened, then how come no one's saying anything? Well, if you have a college telling you you won't get your diploma after you've worked so many years at getting it, if you have people who are offering money to some students that didn't have money, we need to look and see how many students after that got um what would you call it? I get them all the time and I can't even think. I went blank. Um Scholarships to the college afterwards. How many people got scholarship money, got extra privilege money? Um you know,
Yeah.
things like that are going to, we need to follow the money. And that's what's important. Because if we can follow the money, if we can follow where it came from and where it went, we might really be able to do some good here. And that's what I honestly think. I think money has covered this all up. I know that me and Finest Frog Hair were in the chat early on and we were going back and forth on what we thought. And I think that she does have some really good, relatively ideas, but I just don't believe, Frog Hair, that they would take a simple OD and turn it into a mass killing. A cover up this large would cause way more, uh, for people to know more than who would have known that he just OD'd. Nobody in Texas would have known. Nobody in New Jersey would have known. It would have just been another OD. Kids OD at college every day. It does not cause the college any problems because this is 2026 and people are used to the ODs. They are understanding of the drug problems and they've become numb to it. But you can't numb yourself over 4 stabbings in one house, especially the way this has went out. And so that's why I will never believe it was a OD. I just believe that it was jealousy. It was rivalry. I can't talk today because I've had me a very spiced coffee this morning, and it continued on into the afternoon.
That's funny.
But I just feel like the frats. I mean, look what happened afterwards. A man came to deliver DoorDash and was almost beaten to death by who? The frats.
Yeah, that was a sad story. That was a
Very
sad story.
sad.
And I think you got a lot of people agreeing with you in the chat, Bellamisha. I also just want to point out how casually you just threw in there that you get a lot of scholarships while you're studying to be your master's and doctorate. You're like, I get a lot of these. What are they called? Oh, yeah, scholarships.
I told you I've had a little spiced coffee, but no, I do thank God for scholarships because I'm 55 and I'm not a rich woman. And also, it's because of my grades. My grade point average is a 3.93. It
Look
was
at
a
you.
4.0, but it dipped because I had a really tough professor that wasn't taking any ish at all. And also, I have been accepted into the oh, I can't even think of it now. I need to not drink coffee like I have today if I want to talk to you.
No, no
Liberally.
worries. No worries. That's a great GPA. And it's always great to hear from you, Belamisha. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
I hope you do too. And I just want to say hello to my group members that are in the chat right now. I have been getting a lot of chat members coming over to the group, and
Nice.
I appreciate it because our group mirrors you, and we are always shouting you out. I have so many videos of yours in our group, you
Love it.
would think it was a Hive group.
Hey, that's great. That's great. That's awesome. I love how you say, anything goes. And that's the motto. You got to be able to let people say whatever they want, as long as they're not, trolling, spamming, threatening. There's a difference. What's your intention? If you disagree, you disagree. Let's talk. And so that's the way to do it, in my opinion.
Well, y'all have a great time. I'll be out here in the chats watching y'all.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Belamisha. Always great to hear from you. You take care this evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye. So Ghost Girl said, how do we join her group? It's a Facebook group. You might have to rewind. I think I had it back up there, but Belamisha will be in the chat. Just when you see her username, ask her. I'm sure she could drop the link, or maybe one of the mods happens to know what it is. I'm not on Facebook, so I do not know. So anyways, real quick, while I was looking at this photo, you know what sticks out to me right here is this print here. This looks like this looks like a back print, but not necessarily from their skin. Like if they had a shirt on, if you lay on your back and it's kind of dirty on the ground, like if you work out and you're super sweaty and you leave like a back print, like that's almost like what the t-shirt would look like on that. It leaves, I don't know why. The only description word that's coming into my head is like a tie-dye line, but you can almost see like where the t-shirt would press against it is what I almost see. And is this like an elbow scrape? It almost kind of looks like maybe an arm could fit in there and somebody's elbow got almost like a raspberry wound on it here. Yeah, like thrown against the wall in a way. So I found that interesting. Now, I did, in the meantime, I threw this into AI and I had said, hey, if this was going to be left by a body, it's actually saying it'd be under somebody's arm print and they would be pressed against the wall this way. So not accurate to the size, but it could also maybe be that if they were pinned up against the wall. Nonetheless, I found that interesting. And all right, excited for our next caller. Great call-ins so far. We got Shelly Start. How are you doing? Hopefully I said that right.
Hey, Bertie, I'm well, thanks. Hi from Melbourne, Australia. How you going?
The Hive down under Australia. What do you got for us this evening?
This goes back and it's digressing a little bit from what you've just been talking about, but the initial body cam footage when they arrived at the house after the 911 call, where Dylan is standing with the entire group and she's hyperventilating and describing what happened and everything. I swear I hear her say, and then I ran out of the house.
So when she's explaining it to who, just as far as like kind of help us picture what part of the video?
The rest of her friends, when they're all huddled together, it's either Noons' body cam or the other guy with the beard. I can't remember his name, but you can hear her explaining, I saw the guy and this and that, and she's, full on explaining it. And then I swear I hear her say, and then I ran out of the house. It's really quick. And it's almost like they redacted the last bit of it. I don't know if you've got it, and you're so kind bringing up, all the stuff for people to talk about. But
yeah, it's loading up here. So what can I pull up? Is there a specific? I just want to make sure though, while I'm doing this, is it a specific body cam or is it like whose body cam would it be? Do you know?
I'm not sure whether it's Noon's body cam. Or, the one that ended up bringing Murphy out of the house. I forget his name. Is that Maori? I'm not sure, but they're talking together. The two cops are talking together, but they're obviously facing the group, and Dylan's there, and I think she's talking to Hunter Chapin, and she's talking about the whole situation, about what happened.
I'm just trying to think, what would be, Hive, help me out here if you're in the chat and you're live. What would be the best body cam as far as that's consistently, I'm just trying to think of that point when they're huddled up across the stage or across the street.
Great. Yes, that's right.
I was gonna say I don't think it'd be Gunderson because he only kind of walks over there for a little bit. I would guess, is it Snyder? Or Nunez, maybe? Officer Nunez? Not Snyder.
Yeah.
People are saying Gunderson.
Okay. It's when when Nunez and one of them come together, and then but they're facing the group huddled, and you can hear Dylan talking about it all. It's quite loud. And I swear she says, and then I ran outside. It's really quick because it's like they just redact the last bit of it. It's like they didn't mean for that to be in.
Okay. I'm just scrolling right now before I switch the screens. So because Gunderson's like walking around the house for a while. I think I'm just going to do Nunez body cam.
When I see it, I'll know.
Okay.
It's freezing down here today too, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes, we're in winter. It's foggy, cold, 7 degrees Celsius.
What's the conversion of Celsius? I don't know that.
I
off the top
don't
of my head.
know.
Oh, yeah. You don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's cold is what you're getting at. Okay. So here I got Officer Nunez body cam pulled up here. So is it like this at this part?
No, it's when Dylan is over with the entire group.
Oh, like right here.
And she doesn't have a blanket on either. She's in her t-shirt, and I swear she's talking to Hunter Chapin. They're blurred out, of course. It's very hard to see on my phone.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's good. Okay. No, they're all in the blankets. Not where Dylan's not in the blanket. No, it's after they go through. Oh, hang on,
right here,
Yep.
right there. I just saw it.
Could be in there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep. Okay.
Really listen to where she's talking to him.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute because I think the audio comes back quicker, and then I'll unmute it. But I'll let this play.
They tell you anything? They were just about like 4 hours. In the main room. This is one of the. Pretty much they were in the main room. I heard the dancing and laughing. Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone was in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And I saw the guy. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs. But we don't know what's going on.
There is a redaction there.
Do you hear? Does that sound like she said, and then I ran outside?
Well, here, I'll replay it a couple times, but there is a redaction. That I think you're spot on for.
Because someone's in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And I saw the guy. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs. But we don't know what's going on. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs. But we don't know what's going on. I saw the guy. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs. But we don't know what's going on.
It's like she goes, I ran downstairs. They redact a couple, like a word or two. Right. So she does say I ran downstairs, but I'm saying, I think what you're saying, Shelly, is listen right after the word downstairs finishes. I did not, because the first time I'm like, no, she says downstairs. But if you listen to when the word downstairs finishes, there's a slight redaction. So I'll play
also, I think it's after when she said, and then I saw the guy and then I ran outside. It's not that I can definitely hear her say I ran downstairs, but it's after that.
Okay. I'm going to play it again a couple times. So listen to after the downstairs word gets finished.
I just locked the door and I ran downstairs, but we don't know what's going on. locked the door, and I ran upstairs. We don't know what's going
Bethany?
on.
Can you come here with me, please?
Was that the only part of it, Shelly?
Yeah. You think she's saying downstairs or outside?
I think I honestly hear, I think the redaction after listening to that closer, I ran downstairs to Bethany's. I think they might bleep out Bethany's.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, but I always appreciate things like that because, there was a time where I thought when she was walking up, that you could almost make out the words, somebody took Murphy to work instead of Kaylee and Murphy were. You remember? I had posted that a couple months ago. But it is interesting. Like when you listen really closely, it just goes to show too, you can hear things that you want to. That's why audio and video is so subjective. But I appreciate that. I mean, in general, there's so many redactions in this 911 call. I've never seen anything like it. Have you?
Oh, it's incredible. And I just don't believe a word of hers. Dylan is such a wanker. We'll say that a lot in Australia as well. But she's just lied and lied and lied. And I think Bethany had to lie as well. I also think they were both coached, and I the whole thing about Dylan appearing in court and wanting them to block Koberger because she couldn't look at him while she made her impact statement. You couldn't look at him because you knew he didn't do it. Do you know what I mean? That I saw that.
There's something that will surface from all of these types of conversations that we're having. There's from just banging our head against a brick wall. I am a total believer that it might take a long time. We might all go crazy in the process of it if we haven't already. But I do think that if this continues to build, they're going to have to give us a lot more than what they have.
Look, they have to. And look, when this crime initially happened, the first thing I thought was there's something not right about the roommates. How do you not call 911 after 8 hours? And then as it all went along, I softened on them, and then Koberger was arrested, and I so wanted him to be it, I so wanted him to be it, and felt sorry for the survivors. And now with the evidence, I have done a complete backflip, because it's so obvious that the evidence is what tells the story, and they're lying. They're all lying, all of them.
Well, that's just what makes it so hard is like, what is the reason you're lying for? Because there could be like 4 things. You could rattle off 4 things very easily. They're lying for the cops. They're lying to cover up the fact they're involved. They're lying to cover up somebody that they know that's involved. They're lying because they're scared. Like there's so many reasons that you could say why you're lying. But at the end of the day, the common denominator is we all have this intuitive feeling when you look at it enough, you're like, that's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. It seems like crocodile tears and just not the truth in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. But I won't keep you time anymore. Thank you so much. And I'll keep watching and lurking and commenting. And you're doing a great job. Love the Hive. Love what you're doing.
Love it. Thank you so much, Shelly. Stay warm down in Australia. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Wonderful calls. Absolutely wonderful calls. So Hive, I wanted to do something quick. So I did announce that we're having a 10% merch sale that started this weekend, but really, usually on the weekends, I will do a merch giveaway. However, because I'm not doing a Hive Plus stream tomorrow, I thought it would be fun to do a surprise merch giveaway. And so you must be subscribed to win, but anybody can win tonight. All you have to do is type out #Hive. It's not case sensitive, but you do have to spell it right. And so I will start collecting these comments soon, but I figured it would be fun this evening with the call-ins to do a surprise giveaway. So #Hive, and I will start collecting these comments now, and then I will share the screen when we draw the winner. And I'll tell you, usually in the war rooms on Saturdays, which again is a couple times a month, the streams, nothing like when I say nothing's behind a paywall, I'm saying you can watch the stream for free. There's just 1 or 2 days a month you have to be a member to chat. That's the only difference. So like nothing during the week is ever, none of that's changed. So but there's like almost 1,200 people in here right now. Usually in the weekends, there's, a couple hundred. So this will be interesting. Whoever wins tonight, go out, buy a lottery ticket or something. Let's give it. So it's right now, we're going to give it 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. This is great. Hashtag Hive. And I just saw a sleuth say yes, and you could watch it, you can comment on it for those war rooms. It's really just a live dig. All right, we got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. MMF 1497. MMF 1497. Congratulations. Again, you must be subscribed. And MMF 1497. Geez. Apologies for that. All you got to do is email Birdie's Hive Mind at gmail.com. The mods will be typing that out too in the chat as well. And then we'll send you a link and you get to go pick anything you want from the Hive merch store. And that 10% off too, Hive, it's just built into the site. So you don't got to enter any code or remember anything. We have that auto built in. So I saw that too. Somebody just said, Twisted Timo, just passed my name. This random generator, the person that it did the dirtiest like 2 weeks in a row was Brandon Rudder. I felt bad. I was ready to announce his name twice and then it switched. But MMF1497, congratulations. And I thought that would be something cool to do to break it up in between the callers. And I just saw a super chat come in. So first, let me address that. Hot Girl Bummer 520, good to hear from you. Said, remember the note that was passed to Kaylee at the grub truck by Backpack Girl? Early rumor was that was a warning from Brian. Everything is possible. I have heard that. It's just a twisted, deep rabbit hole that just keeps going forever and ever and ever. I mean, if that ended up being true, I mean, all of the theories that we've been thinking about, just what was leading up to it then? I'm not sure. That'll definitely get your head spinning. Hive, I have to get my dog off the roof and turn the air on, and then I'm going to go to Penny for Your Thought, Frustration Station, Hannah Banana, and Caroline. So don't go anywhere. I will sprint to the air and to the roof. I got it. See, off the roof, she's safe. Oh, that dog is heavier than I thought. All righty. All right. Next up, we got Petty for your thought. How are you doing, Petty?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Doing great. What do you got for us this evening?
Well, I've been watching this case since the very beginning, and I've been on a roller coaster with it. You know, we all have. In the beginning, I like, who could have done this? And then Brian comes up, and we all think Brian did it, you know, and wow, they caught the guy. And then you see this other stuff come out, and you realize that it ain't Brian. So my husband and my daughter, they think I'm crazy because I've just hung on to this case for so long. But I find it very funny that your brother could be in the house or your girlfriend could be in the house that you dated all through high school, and you're not going crazy asking what's going on, where they at, who's in there. They had to have known.
They had to have, especially, and that's what almost makes this cover up or this story that they went with. It's kind of what ended up cooking them in the end, is that nobody's going to buy that for so long, right? Like, you can only emotionally palate some rash explanations until you kind of snap out of it and you're like, okay, why isn't anybody freaking out? You know what I mean? And so, do you have any thoughts as to why or how or what?
Well, remember when the girl was where the camera was at? Remember when she was hiding that to go to Jack D's?
Yes.
Okay, I believe that was the film she was bringing it to Jack D. I don't know if he downloaded it. That's how the Gonzaleses got the information of when they got home and all that, because that's what they had. I think she gave it to Jack D, and he downloaded it. I don't think he could have looked at it and come up, somehow he had to have downloaded it.
Oh
so
my God, that is so
I
smart.
really believe that's what took place. Is it had nothing to do with, so Jack D knew beforehand.
Yes.
He knew. And those people in that house knew.
Yep.
Everybody knew.
I just got to give you the GOAT for that, because, so just to clarify, to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying right, the girl that walked out and came back holding the towel, maybe latex gloves, and a corner club sweatshirt, right? The one that.
No, I'm talking about at the house that morning before the cops got there. She remember that we were wondering what was going on with that girl bringing something, going to Jack D's?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the same person.
Okay.
Yep. So you're saying, because whatever she's carrying, she could have had the little SD card in there. She could have ran it over to Jack D's at that time for sure.
Absolutely. Whatever she was, but it was going to Jack D. That's why I think the Gonzaleses knew so much from the get-go. So now I really think that maybe Jack D wasn't involved in it. I think he knew after the fact. Before the cops knew, or whatever. But yeah, I really don't think that he was. At one point, I thought he was involved. The jealousy thing, which I think everybody thought that at first. It was Jack D at the beginning. He's the one that did it when it first came out. Right. But then everybody, came down off that thought. It wasn't long that they held on to that. So and I'm beginning to think that he didn't do it. What the call was about, who knows? They might have been fighting. Who knows?
I think too, I saw Mallory who said that's an internet sign-in for that camera. That is true. If you have a Ring app, that is true. For all we know though, maybe she just ran over there and literally showed him the footage, and maybe that's how he was like, you need to send me that. And it could have just been send me a video or message. Maybe she didn't send him that right away. She went over to physically show him the video on her phone.
Or maybe there was something else she went to show him. Maybe they did send the video, but I'm sure that's where the Gonzaleses saw it right away.
Had to be.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. There was no other cameras. It had to be that. That's how it had to come.
Right.
So I just, at first, I did think Jack D not too long ago. I thought maybe that, they were calling because of the dog. What's his name again? I forgot.
Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. I'm sorry for forgetting his
No, you're
name.
good. There's a lot to
But
remember in this.
anyway, yeah. But I was thinking maybe that they were calling to tell him to please bring, give back Murphy, and maybe that's why she texted him and says he belongs to both of us, because maybe they're arguing about Murphy because he took Murphy or something, and that could still be what happened. Who knows?
Could
They
be.
could have been. Yeah, it could very well be. But
Yeah, that's a great thought.
and maybe he just don't want to tell that because he looks suspicious as being the one that did it. Who knows? But anyway, that's just my thoughts. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on it, but you don't want to hear them.
No, I love
Everybody's
it. That
got
was a
their.
great one. That was a great one, Penny. And I hope that you call it again and share more of them.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Thanks, Penny. Cheers.
Okay, bye.
I love when people have like a different interpretation on things like that. Like what if she was running over her phone to show him the footage, or what was she doing? Instead of just maybe discarding of bloody evidence and things like that, it could just be, I'm going to go show Jack this video that I got. We know that video got out there. So anyways, thank you for the call, Penny. Next up, we got Hannah Banana. How are you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear. What do you got for us this evening?
Okay, so I have two things. I'm going to keep it short because I have a newborn right now, which you'll understand.
Congrats.
And
yes,
congrats to you.
congratulations. Thank you.
So two things, and these are my theories at the very beginning of the case, and then they started to resurface recently where I'm starting to believe it again. So the first one is I think Xana and Ethan were the beginning of the end. So not saying they were the targets. I just believe they had an argument, and it actually worked in the suspect's favor because the suspects or whoever were already there. Which goes with like I don't believe they were together a lot that night, Ethan and Xana. And so when they got back home, they started to hash things out and argue, and things escalated, and yeah, so that worked in their favor.
That's a good point, because it brings in how, right, every night out, I'm sure there's going to be something somewhat chaotic, or there's a chance of the drama. And so when you say the beginning to the end, just clarify that again. Meaning,
so I think that, and what made me think of the theory again is Peter's interview coming out saying that Ethan took him outside to talk about Xana and how it's hard to date her. I think when they got home, there were already people there. There was tensions, etc. And then their argument escalated so much that people started getting involved, and obviously things started really escalating, but it worked in their favor.
I see. Okay, I understand now.
And then my second point that I thought at the very, very beginning, and I just started thinking about it again the last few weeks, is Dylan.
Okay.
Dylan being a target. Not in the fact, like, in a sense, like she's like the number one. And I have always been sketched out by Dylan, obviously, her interviews, but her running downstairs and the footprint at her door, I believe at the very beginning that the suspect actually, or suspects, actually came back in a few minutes later to off her, but she was not there, and then they left.
So you're saying that in the midst of maybe the suspects not whether they left or whether they were preoccupied in one of the other rooms, right? She made her run downstairs, and then they went to go check that room, but she was already gone.
Yes, correct. So even if it was two suspects and one walked to the kitchen, maybe even outside, and she made that, 10-second dart to Bethany's room and they came back in to off her, they were like, oh, she's not here. It really is time to go. Which would, and I'm not trying to stick up for Dylan at all, but it would, make sense regarding the blood, the shoe print outside of her room, stuff like that.
I think it could. Actually, I'll ask you instead of just stating this because I'm curious. What are your thoughts on how at one point Dylan says, I feel like maybe they were there to protect me, or she says something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. Do you remember that?
Yes. And I will say at the very beginning, actually, I've been following it since obviously it started. I have been a Dylan defender up until maybe this past summer. And then I was like, no, she's a part of it, or at least knows. Now I'm going almost back to my original theories. I don't think she was a part of it. I think she knows, she's scared, and slip ups like, oh, maybe they knew me or maybe they were trying to protect me is her way of internalizing like what really happened, which would be, oh, they protected me in a sense because I ran downstairs or anything like that. So I'm not saying she's a victim. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about her, but I can see her running downstairs, then coming back into her room. And then they're not going to go back downstairs, or even if they originally were downstairs, they're not going to go back. We spend too much time.
I appreciate I think you're making sense from a standpoint of going back and forth on your theories. When I hear the protected thing, I sometimes think about, okay, if the involvement is as part of like a setup or like a premeditated warning got to Dylan of like, hey, when some stuff goes down, just stay in your room or go downstairs, right? Because then my question always is like, okay, so if you're feeling like you're protected, like why wait 8 hours then? Scared. Like that's like, I see your point, but I just feel like that gap just kind of cooks her from the standpoint of even if she felt protected, well, you're going to hear it, right?
Yeah. And actually I want to add to that because, okay, so like for her running downstairs and being protected, and then my original theory is, so I think that almost like she thought that it's almost like she knew who the person was. She didn't know the extent of what was happening. Okay, so when she went down to Bethany's room, she didn't know they were being like executed in a sense, so she wasn't just gonna go and tell on everyone and call 911. And then when she saw, oh my God, this is actually real life, they actually did this instead of just beating them up where they're, immobilized. Like she's like, oh my God, like this could have been me.
This is not like a gotcha question. This is a serious question. Do you think that would be considered involved then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, 100%.
When you say involved though earlier, you just meant like in the actual stabbings and the partaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I do believe that she knows, but even from the start, I thought that she knew, but I always had a gut feeling that she wasn't like evil type of thing. She was scared, or she knew, and she didn't want to get in trouble and all of this stuff. But that's kind of where it stems from.
Well, her feeling of protection clearly must have only increased and gotten stronger as this went on, wouldn't you say? I mean, if she felt that protected, now it's just like, it's wild. It's wild what they've done and allowed her to say.
I agree. But when you start to tell a lie, even from day one, and it's been 30 years, you actually, psychologically, you start to believe the lie. So if she did, and I'm not trying to be a Dylan defender here, but if she did start to say it, she could psychologically, she could start believing the lie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, look at how many normies believe the narrative still today. You say a lot
Yeah, and
enough times, right?
yeah, and I don't even believe the narrative. I'm not even coming across as a Dylan defender. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that I still feel like, one day if that came across the news that like, okay, she knew at this length, I would believe that.
Right. I get your point. I can see what you're trying to explain as far as you don't believe she was involved in the killing. And while, yes, she may have known something was going on and going down, the severity of people actually being murdered and killed could have most likely led to her just assuming that they got jumped or they got beat up. And then when people really weren't moving, so even if she saw Xana, she could have thought maybe she was just knocked out or beat to a pulp at that point, but not dead. And maybe she waited 8 hours because she didn't think they were dead. And she was kind of like, I'm not getting involved with whatever just happened. Is that what you're kind of
Correct.
getting at?
Or yes, or even to the extent, even though it's bad, maybe even one person dead. She didn't, it's not like the whole group, and I know it's one person, but still, she's like,
I
it
get
can't
your
be
point
that
in
bad.
that. I get your point. I get your point. And I can appreciate you coming up here and saying that. I mean, both of those, I think it's interesting that you're kind of going back on both the theories, right? I mean, so much stuff from the beginning has bubbled back up. And so I appreciate the call and good luck with the newborn. Congratulations again.
Thank you. You too.
Have a good weekend. Cheers. Bye. You know what? Again, I appreciate Hannah Banana calling in and saying that. Guys, because you can kind of hear, and I'd probably do it myself, where you're like, I just want to clarify. I'm not like defending them. I'm not defending them. It's okay. Even if you came up here and you were like, I think Brian did it. Like, I'm not going to, these call-ins are for people to put stuff out there and then we listen and we assess it. Okay. If I disagree with you, I'm going to be disagreeing with you. But if it's just conversing about it, it's kind of a little bit different. Do I share that same belief? No. But I thought it was, I thought the point about the shoe print in the blood was very interesting about maybe they went back to look for it. She was already gone, so they didn't have to go any further in. I want to make sure that I got to Pineapple Diana. Thank you for the super chat. Said, I kind of feel like DM saying she was maybe protected was maybe trying to set a narrative, just saying you're not going to find DNA because we cleaned last week. That's another weird comment. Weird comment. You would actually think that would mean to the cops or who's ever going to be testing for DNA, like, nice, we have a clean slate that they cleaned last week. So any DNA we find here has a good chance of getting here since they did that deep clean and made a point to tell us about. Very odd. I wonder if that was something that was told to her to interject into the narrative. That's a good point. All right. Next up, we got Caroline or Carolyn. How are you doing?
Hey, it's Caroline. Like sweet
Caroline.
Caroline.
Sweet
Yeah.
Caroline. Love it. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I am surprisingly nervous. My heart is like beating out of my chest.
Oh, take a
No
breath.
idea
Just we'll
why.
breathe through it. Just you're
It's
just
like
on the
high
phone
school
with
speech.
Yeah, you're just on the phone with Birdie and the Hive. You're all good.
Okay. All right. So I've kind of got a long one. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, cool. So basically the theme of my overarching theory is follow the money. Okay. So first I'm going to list out all the different like money data points, and then I'm going to go through a list that like kind of ties that thread all together.
Okay.
So first, drug money from drug sales. Second, like sugar daddy money, so to speak. Some people claimed like, they supposedly Kaylee had up to like 9 to 10 bank accounts. This has been all over with like up to 100K. And where did that money go? Right.
Right.
She also had the money from the car sale that day. Where's that cash? And then the other roommates also were said to have a lot. And then grant money to police, grant money to the University of Idaho, donations from frat and sorority orgs. Those are huge to the university. Donations from alumni, money from loss of people enrolling, should this get out. Money for Coburger's role, that was 80K a year. And then Fight Club betting. Okay, so first thing I want to bring up is the Jack D being involved. I know the caller, like you in front of me, said that maybe he wasn't. And I like those alternative theories, but I'm going to be honest. I'm like 100% convinced that he is. And I'll explain why.
Clarified Jack D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll explain why. Because I was watching an old video from like 2 to 3 years ago, and I can't remember who it was, but I'll put it in the comments later. And he said that, those calls from Jack D, the original purpose of those calls, that 17-minute phone call, was going to be his alibi. He planned that call to be his alibi if that 2 p.m. timeline ended up being the real timeline, because he wouldn't know that they would make up a new timeline of 4 a.m., right?
Yep.
So he was covering himself. And if you listen to the audio, his phone rings. You can hear the ring. It rings once and then it gets silenced. So maybe they send it right to voicemail. And the other thing is, like, he let it go. Maybe he wanted to rehear the murder again and again. Maybe he saved it.
See, that's dark.
I'm sorry, but his lack of emotion, his professor saying that he was not doing well, mental health issues, and I feel for people with mental health issues 100%. But his behavior and then the girl running to his house after, all of it, it's shady as fuck. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. But do you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he has to be involved. And then, the other thing is, like, once they did come out with the 4 a.m. narrative to cover it up, he would have no idea they were going to cover it up, right? So then he stays quiet about it. He doesn't bring it up at all until the cops do, which it's just even further proof to me. And then he plays dumb about it.
So, two things before we go just breeze by. One, your point about Steve G saying I don't understand why if you have a strong alibi, they can't share it.
Yeah.
Right. That's a great point that you made about, is that the 17-minute phone call that Steve is essentially alluding to? And when Christy's saying, I think they cleared some people a little bit too quickly. And then the next point that you just brought up, what did you just say? Shoot, it's slipping my mind.
Yeah, no, it's so, like, originally he was going to use it, but then he never brought it up and played dumb.
Yes, and that's one of the handful of times throughout any of these interviews you can almost, after the fact, when you're listening and playing like Monday morning quarterback, you can kind of see the path that they are leading him down to circle back on it. And you're right, he played dumb.
Yep. And this is his girlfriend of multiple, like, his high school sweetheart, and she is leaving him for good. This is it. And he can't handle it. And it's either like you're with me or you can't be with anyone else. And I mean, it's like tale as old as time. How many women are murdered for exactly that reason? And then I think the money part, I'm pretty sure that whatever money she had, like the 100K or whatever, I think the cops probably, the parents act so shady, especially, like, why wouldn't Xana's family? And I know some of the family members were upset, but, like, they're so quiet. What if the cops said, you can have all the money in these accounts, we'll keep it quiet? I mean, who knows how much was in there? So,
Right.
I don't know.
No,
But,
I think that those are good points.
yeah. Okay, so next, sorry,
Yep, you're
there's a
good.
lot.
No
Okay,
worries.
so Kaylee wasn't staying with her parents. She was having a falling out. I know she was supposedly talking to Steve, but Kaylee is smart and very independent. I think she would see through that man. Like, I just could see her despising him. And the way he described the story of them going to sell the car, and he says it with contempt when he says, yeah, she just took the money. I guess she's going to keep it, and got in a car and left. So my question is, one, why was he there at all? Because she's not staying with him. She can drive her own car and she had a planned ride home. He didn't know she had a planned ride home. So that's why he thought he was there. But why'd he go? That's so always rang weird to me. And, like, and then also, like, did it really happen that same day? And if so, again, where'd the money go? And why does he say it with such contempt that she took it? It's her car. Like, did he think he had ownership of it? It's so bizarre, Okay, next one is the Fight Club. So, it's a grub check. I'm convinced now that, like, everybody is watching a fight, and I think Xana is part of it. Whether it's her being attacked or the Fight Club, I don't know. But there are pictures of her, with the braids, like, looking like a fighter. I could see her fighting. Like, she has so much spunk and energy. Like, she's just, you could tell she was an awesome human being. and I could tell like she would do something like that. And I think maybe it did start as a fight club. And then I'm wondering, do people place bets on that? And could people have been angry about something involving that? I don't know on that front. I just wanted to kind of bring that up.
Yep.
What do you think of the fight club? Do you think that that was a thing?
There's been when I first started doing Hive Mind Finds, if you've tuned into the Hive for a while now, you've heard me say this, but there was a viewer that had sent me this video and had said they weren't watching the Fight Club. It was the same night as a title fight in
I
UFC,
saw that too.
and the
Yeah.
fighter's name was Adesanya. And then you kind of see a couple of people
Oh,
like kind of doing like a
yeah.
rear naked choke. And I mean, it was a massive fight. The timing is tough to work out because I think it was in New York that night. Anyways,
Hmm.
like to me though, like streaming a fight on UFC could be biased because like we've done that in college and we'd watch it and
But
we'd cheer and we'd go to
everyone?
people's house. Well, I mean, I could just see like if you had a pay-per-view thing and you're standing at the grub truck waiting
Oh,
for your food and
maybe.
somebody has it, I could see that. But I've never heard, so like I've heard of people doing that. I've never heard of people streaming a fight club. Like
That's true. You
I
wouldn't
don't
want it to
know.
get out.
So like I'm not saying that it couldn't be, but since I've heard that in my head, I'm like, I felt like that kind of clicked a lot.
Yeah, and you know that one of the things you hear is go Xana. That name is similar to Xana, so that would actually make
Adesanya,
sense.
or
Yep,
like,
yep,
yep, Xana.
exactly.
But either way, I mean, like I said, I don't know if that's right. It's just it's stuck with me where I'm like, that's logical.
But another theory could be that maybe it wasn't the Fight Club and maybe it was the attack or the beginning of it. And you know, everyone leaves that area right after Kaylee and Maddie do. I think
True.
they all go to that location. They follow them. They know what's coming or they know what's happening already. And people are watching them. And oh, one thing I wanted to bring up, and I think someone may have mentioned it yesterday, or maybe it was an old video, I don't know, but you know, where Kaylee lifts her phone when Maddie's like at the grub truck window, and
Hmm.
like you think she's taking a video, but if the phone is tilted, it is actually like kind of pointing at the guy behind her in the hoodie. And I wonder if she was like trying to get a picture or video of him, or
And
someone
not
else did, and I
filming
thought that
her
was a good idea.
and not filming her being silly.
Yes, because
Okay.
Maddie wasn't even doing anything; she was ordering. So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that might
Maybe
be
just
worth
take a look. It's
pulling
like
up.
it's angled weird,
Yeah.
and he's right behind her. So who knows? And she moves to the side too before she starts filming. But anyway, shoot, my phone locked. 1 second. I've got a
You're
whole
good.
bunch. I go through the night. Okay. Oh yeah, next one. So whenever they're at the house again, so they get dropped off at 2:26. So like when things start popping off, you can hear whoever is like. It sounds like he's torturing slash like mocking them in a way. You know, he's being very cruel. You can tell. You don't know what he's saying exactly, but then later you can hear him say, "I think this was pissy pajamas." Sorry, saying that. That's the first time I said that out loud.
It is
Um,
a unique name to say. There's no doubt about that.
yeah. One of the audios, like you can clearly hear who took the picture, over and over again. And I'm wondering, is that referring to like the Ethan and mom pic at the frat potentially?
That's a good callback because we know that actually caused some
A
feathers to get
lot.
ruffled. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like in the interviews they talk about how he was pissed, and then oh I think it's Pete or maybe one of the other guys. They're like, oh, but not physical, nothing physical. It's like, why would you say that?
Yeah, I could see how that could be the mom photo.
But okay, the other thing is in Pete's interview, he says that or maybe it's not Pete, it's the guy who didn't like Ethan. He's the only one that was like honest about it. Like he's cocky, I think is what he said. And that's another weird thing is like not many people liked Ethan. Just kind of a call out, but it's very weird. But Xana was well loved, so kind of them together is an interesting match. But anyway, they said that pick happened at Parents' Weekend. Now,
Yes.
this guy claimed that it was the year before. But what if it was the week before? What if that was fresh? And they're saying who took the pic because it had just happened. It hadn't been a year. It was recently. And they're asking you who else was there with my mom or whatever. Or I don't know. What do you think that's a possibility?
I think
This
all of it's a
weekend, that weekend was
possibility.
the weekend before. It was a week after.
I do find it a little bit strange that if it was a year earlier to still call it back and be that upset about it. I mean, maybe if it's
Yeah.
like the first time you're seeing somebody, but to think that somebody went an entire year and didn't know about the picture, I don't know. I just feel like that's something where if it's guys like messing with somebody because they got a hot mom, I feel like you're going to end up finding out about that sooner than a year, unless it's way more nefarious and it was actually
No,
like
what I
somebody
mean is,
hooking up with their mom, you know?
what if it didn't happen a year ago? What if they just said that? I'm saying, what if it happened
Oh,
a
yeah.
week ago?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
I was
sorry.
agreeing with you that yes, it could
Oh,
be.
sorry, my bad.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. People are weird. Guys, oh, especially like David Loach, everyone said Ethan made a joke about him taking steroids, which goes back to the whole drug thing. Um, People get pissed easily, especially if you're on steroids and Adderall and Coke or whoever knows what else they were taking.
Drinking.
So, and drinking, yeah, and combined with alcohol.
Right.
Yeah, that rage is insane. So, anyway, um, next part of it is just like the Aryan gang and drug part of it. I think Xana's ability to always have drugs, and then like Pete was saying, like she was the source of all of it for people. I do wonder if her dad somehow got her some, or there's some kind of involvement there. And then Molly and Gower, obviously, I think they were both involved in some way. And they are both part of the Aryan gang. Gower, I guess, is still technically in it. I think he was like promoted, supposedly. I saw that somewhere. I don't know if that's true. Allegedly. But I don't know. I feel like it was a lot of people there. It was all the CIs. It was obviously Dylan. I think didn't she have ties to the gang as well?
Her
Um,
boyfriend at the
Quinn.
time,
Yeah.
Quinn, yes.
Yeah.
His father or stepfather, yes.
Yes. Yep. I think it all ties back to that same group. And I think they were all there. And then I think there were cops that are in that group, like Rosie Payne, potentially, maybe others that left shortly after. Do you remember their names? I couldn't recall them when I was.
Whose name? Sorry.
So there were a few cops that left like right after this. But I can't remember which names they were. I think one was like with a T. But anyway, I think
Tisdale?
those cops. What's that?
Tisdale?
Yes, Tisdale. Yeah. A lot of cops, especially in that area, could be involved. I mean, back in the day, they were in the KKK. That equivalent to that today is like white supremacists, right? So
Right.
anyway,
I get your point with like the Aryan
yeah,
family and yes, the purebred or whatever the phrasing would be for that.
right. So then from there, it would flow down into the sororities and the frats, right? Because they are probably dealers and involved that way. And then to the CIs, because obviously they are part of it. And then maybe the cops are protecting their CIs, who weren't known to be CIs at the time. I don't know. It's so complicated, but I think they were all there, is my point. Or at minimum, they're on the periphery and knew what was happening. Um, so
I agree with that.
again,
I think the
it's
cops
all,
absolutely know.
yeah, but I think like at the root of it, everything. So the first crime being Ethan Zana, I think one rage from his frat, people not liking him in general, but also probably maybe related to drugs. And then you could bring in like the guy who was hazed. Something about Moscow that's really weird is they kept saying there hasn't been a murder here in 10 years. Do you remember that
Yeah,
all
I
over
mean
Main Street?
everybody said that there's nothing like this ever happens. It's like a
Hmm.
PR management line.
Yeah, but specifically, I remember the 10 years over and over. There hasn't been a murder in 10 years. But if you look at their suicide rate, excuse me, I think they've covered up a lot of deaths in Moscow, Idaho. A lot. And something I was going to do is go and actually like look at the old news and see just how many. Because I mean, we know of what, like 4 just straight off the bat through looking through this.
Well,
So,
for sure more than what they are claiming. Yes.
oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%. So yeah, so it starts with Ethan, Xana, that's crime 1. Then 2, Maddie and Kaylee come over. Jack D, obviously, I think there's so many different motives, right? I think Jack D's was passion. I think Maddie was just wrong place, wrong time, / jealousy that Kaylee was so close with her, potentially. I don't know. Do you think that's maybe?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they had some sort of connection potentially.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like crime two. And then the third is the cover up itself. I mean, that is a whole other, like you can really separate these three.
Wait,
into
hang on.
three
Go
different.
back. What did
Yeah.
you say again? Did I hear that right? Go ahead. Say that again.
Which
Sorry.
one?
The one where you said, what do I think about that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I said that Maddie, there really wasn't a true motive for her to be unalived. I
Oh,
think it was,
yes. So other than just with how close they were, and I said, well, I would
and she
think
was there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would think that just the connection would be exactly that they're very close and she was around.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel so bad for all of them. It's just, ugh, it's so heartbreaking and no justice at all. And their freaking families, they piss me off. I'm like, I could never imagine doing that to my child. I have three,
Yeah.
and like, just the, oh, it makes me sick. Um, so yeah, I think it was like you could separate just those three. So like Ethan and Xana on their own, Kaylee, and then the cover up itself involving all the universities, all the cops, everybody. I mean, so many people involved, and not one person had a good conscience to say something. It's sickening.
It is sickening.
And
It's almost hard to believe. It's
it
almost hard
truly
to believe
is.
that it's really just that. Like and again,
I know.
it's so
Yep.
wild to me.
And with everything coming out with Israel and the Charlie Kirk thing, Tyler Robinson, I mean, it is just like copy paste corruption on such a scale. And I think that the entire world is waking up, and we're going to have some kind of, I don't want to say revolution, but there's no going back. You can't put all this back in. And I don't think we can ever stop talking about this, because this is injustice on a scale I have never seen before. So
Well said. Well said. And I appreciate the call, Caroline. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Let me just say too, to your point about the whole revolution, it goes back to how I've been saying with anybody that's deemed a quote unquote conspiracy theorist. The worst part about trying to explain this to people is they're like, well, then why wouldn't they tell you? Well, there's never a grand reveal. And I feel
Right,
like
exactly.
nowadays, yeah, exactly. And nowadays with the algorithm and the powers of big tech and shadow banning people, the revolution, it's never going to be televised, right? Like I would argue, like
Yes,
we are
yep.
seeing, we're seeing little pockets of here, like on channels like this and many others that are just like, F it, we're going to have our own conversations then. We don't need you people anymore. So
Yep.
I think that's
Which is
very,
what we have to do. I mean, I applaud you for doing this, and
Thank
you're
you.
so great at it, by the way.
Thank you.
And yeah, I've been tuning in for, I don't know, 6 months now.
Love
ish,
it.
when I first
Love
saw it.
it.
Yeah, so I'm really grateful, and I just yeah, never give up. And yes, there might not be a grand reveal, but I think even just not forgetting the victims is giving them justice in a way. So I still
Well
think we
said.
need to talk about it. And yeah, thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, my screen name is Ben Folds Kicks. I sent you a lot of money the other night.
Oh, Ben Folds Kicks. Yes. Thank you so much. I was like, okay, so because I can only see Caroline, AKA. I can't see the
Oh.
last part, but thank you so much
Okay.
for all those super chats and the donations. And
Oh, no
before you
worries.
go,
Yeah.
you had said you started the call saying that you were nervous. You did a great job. So
Oh, thanks.
yes,
Yeah,
I hope
my
that-
heart's not beating fast anymore. Thank you.
good. Well, thank
All
you
right.
again, Caroline. Hey, oh, Ben Folds Kicks. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
No problem. You too. Bye.
Yep. Cheers. Bye-bye. All righty, Hive. Next up, we got, I'm trying to click on Frustration Station. However, it says their device is not connected. So Frustration Station, if you just want to pop out and then pop back in, sometimes that happens. All righty. Next up, we got, actually, hang on. I saw a massive super chat come in from Christy Adkins. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wow. Said, I want a t-shirt that says, quote, Dylan's a wanka, and pretty much. Luna, mods, can we make that happen? I think that would be a phenomenal t-shirt, Krista. Hive, type of one if you think that would be a decent merch option. I do. I think that'd be fun too to give away a select amount of those to people. We have so many amazing people in here, and that giveaway tool is great. It's awesome. And thank you so much, Christy, again. Christy. All right, next up we got Becky C003. Becky, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Birdie.
Awesome.
I had some things that I went over from last week and did
Yep.
some digging. And the thing that gets me is I watched an interview with Chief Jenkins, and he said that on December 19th he was invited over to the MPD to discuss the case on the 20th. And when he got over there, uh, got over told him, don't share this information with any of your officers or any of your staff that you're coming over here. So he didn't. He went over, they discussed their case, and as he was leaving, uh, he had told him that, hey, I remember that name. I've got all of his information at my school. Uh, And he was asked when he was leaving, he asked the chief, how did you guys come up with this, him as a suspect? And the chief said, well, this is chief of MPD. He said, the DNA at the scene. That's how they come up with the name. Okay, well then, Jenkins went back and started going through Brian's, like, where he lived, his work history, everything. And he said that nothing had came up about any instances where it made BK look like a bad person. There was no reports, no nothing, which is interesting because didn't they say that he had gotten trouble at the school for following people?
You're so right.
Things like that. So
what interview was that? I'm trying to remember. I just saw somebody say Bernie looks perplexed. I'm trying to think of the interview that he was saying this in. It sounds familiar, but I can't think of it.
He was on an interview with Tom Zinner and Cato Kalin.
Okay. I'll have to watch
and that was about 10 months ago that was posted. It's TZ Scandal. But anyway, he had said also that was strange, but
you were saying, and I'm sorry if I had interrupted you. You had said that he went back. There was nothing in his file, and although they have said there was all these reports about him being and doing, such terrible things at campus, he didn't find any. Was the last thing I think you said.
Right. That's exactly it. And so that makes it more desirable that if he didn't have anything in his background, why wouldn't he have gotten the job? The excuse of, well, he wasn't. He was odd. Well, they want the best person, and if he was at the top of the class and was a teacher's assistant, why wouldn't they have picked him?
Let me ask you this,
it
Becky.
Makes no sense.
Let me ask you this. So the whole he was odd. So you had just said that Chief Jenkins had gone to a meeting over at MPD, and MPD told him, like, don't let anybody know, right? And then you said he went back and he's looking at all this stuff. And then he gives the interview and he's saying, oh, he's odd. I mean, at that point, that meeting with MPD and how they got his name and all this stuff, that's still what we're publicly being told. For all we know, this implementation of the narrative could have been already in Chief Jenkins' head as far as, I need to start planting the seed that this guy's weird. You know what I mean?
Right. And he also said that that was before BK was identified as a suspect. I mean, they gave him the hint. They had gotten a hint that it could be him, and they were going to do some, looking into him. But he wasn't verified out to the public as he's the one, because they kept that close to the vest. And another thing, they said that he was when Chief Jenkins went and after he was identified as a suspect, they went to the school and they talked to the professors and grad students. And he said that everybody was in shock because they couldn't believe that BK was the suspect. Odd again.
That is odd. You're right.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, we have all these students that come out that are apparently friends with them, childhood friends, and they're one removed from the alleged friend, right? And
Right.
they all have the same stuff to say about him.
Right. And Chief Jenkins did make a statement that said that I think it was Cato Palin that asked him right at the end, "Hey, how who got the job?" That's what we want to know is who got the job. And Chief Jenkins said, "Oh, they still work at Pullman or at the PD. And so I will let them tell you." And that position was only a 3-year grant.
And Brian Koberger gets arrested. It's like, what was it? It was a 3-year position. It was damn near down to the day that Brian is being sentenced of that 3-year assistantship. That's not a coincidence. Becky, can you also, I just want to make sure I'm watching the exact one you're talking about. If you don't mind, can you send that to birdieshivemind@gmail.com? Just the link of the YouTube video.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. So when you hear that, I don't know if you're fixing to put a little bit of tinfoil on your head there. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think BK was involved because in the description of the job, it says an action role researcher. Well, action role. Think about that. Could that be an undercover agent? He knew about drugs. He knew where to get them, because he had been in that part of life. BK was the perfect person to put in there because he could blend in with the drug scene fairly easy, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but, and I think he, like I said last week, I think something happened and he was going to blow the case and, or he got found out and they put him in there to be safe. I could be wrong. I don't know. Because I'm still kind of on the fence about that. But
I like the way your brain works. I do. I appreciate your calls because I think you have a perfect balance of explaining why you get to the, and I was not trying to be disingenuous when I say the tinfoil on your head thing. It was more just a joke because I know some people.
Oh, no.
Okay, good. Because I know some people might take that like, no, this isn't even that crazy. Because sometimes I get like that when I'm explaining something very crystal clearly. And then one of my friends will just be like, oh, is this another conspiracy? And I just want to be like, are you even listening to what I'm saying? You can go look this all up, So.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing, and like I said last week, every week something changes because we have these great callers and I go back and listen to, that and I'm like, oh, well, that could be a possibility, So, but what got me about Chief Jenkins was he said until the recent information had started coming out with the FOIAs and stuff, that the Moscow keeps everything close to the vest even now. And he said during the time that this was happening, since Moscow, the university and Moscow wasn't putting any information out, he said that him and his colleagues at WSU would put out things to their students to, tell them that things were safe and just keep putting out information. And he said, we never got anything from over there in Idaho. So it's just all crazy. And what got me was Jeff Kernodle. Why are they not taking him seriously?
You know, and that's something that I don't understand, because when you listen to, if we're going to talk about substance and being drunk and all of that, right? I mean, Jeff he was open about it, how he wished he would have been drinking that night. He was saying in the past that Xana had called him out for it. And when you hear stuff like that, again, there's this human, whatever you can read through the screen, this intuition, this energy of somebody. It's like, sounds very truthful. You can feel the authenticness of it. And then you hear Dylan say she can't remember because she was drunk. And you're like, what the hell is that?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is after this was done and everything, I did find that WSU got a $3 million grant to update their security.
Oh yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of money to come in. That's
Yeah.
going to, so, Becky, you've been in here for a while, and you've probably seen a lot of the funding stuff that we've talked about. And one of the ones I don't talk about as much is the SAFE Act. And so WSU is getting all of this funding for that predictive criminal behavior. And then Idaho was getting this funding for preventing violent acts of crime on campus from happening. So it wasn't as much of millions of dollars. I want to say off the top of my head, if my memory's right, it was like 800 grand. And so what are the odds that the guy who commits this is at the school for predictive criminal behavior, and then the school that's receiving the preventative and stopping the violent acts have this play out in the way that it has? It just seems too, I don't know. It just seems too perfect.
And did they get their grant renewed for another 3 years? Why is the person supposedly still working there?
Right. It's such a
that's odd. That's your tinfoil hat working overtime.
I love it.
And the thing about it is too is, he is sitting in jail and he's not talking. Well, if I remember correctly, Dahmer ended up talking, BTK ended up talking, Bundy, and Tim McVeigh. They all ended up talking.
Don't even get me started on McVeigh. That's another rabbit hole.
Hey, I'm from Oklahoma, so I know all about that. So, it's crazy. I think that Ethan and Xana, I think they were struck first before everybody else got home. I think Little Miss Winker was a part of it somehow, and her man, and some of the frats around there. I think Ethan had got into a fight over at the Whites, and he had got into it with some other guy, but I think him and Peter kind of had words. And I think that's why Peter went on to the AGR building, and Xana and Ethan didn't go. They ended up going home. But the Sigma Chi president had stated in his interview that Xana had never been to the AGR before, and she wanted to go. And then they ended up not going. But yet Peter says, they didn't really like that scene because they were agriculture boys and country. Well, Ethan loved country music. Didn't make sense. But anyway, that's what I got.
Well, Becky, always great to hear from you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Thank you for the call, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Hive. I just want to take a second and address the super chats as they come in so I don't forget them. Hannah said, Hannah Banana here. Oh, I saw the hate comments after my thoughts. To clarify, I'm a true crime girl for the victims. My best friend is a cold case victim. I have a skeptical mind and an empathetic heart. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Hannah Banana. And one thing about getting up and putting yourself out there, and I know it firsthand, is people are going to like you. They're going to not like you. They're going to tell you do great. They're going to tell you you're the dumbest person that they've ever seen. So just speak your truth. And I think that you for sure did that. You got up here, you spoke your truth. We were able to have a discussion, which I give you props for, right? I don't necessarily have your same position, but that should never stop you from calling in. Same thing with anybody else out there that has a different opinion than myself or anybody in the chat. I feel like, as far as quote unquote hate comments in the Hive, were mild compared to some that I've seen. However, don't let that stop you, Hannah. You did great. Thank you again for the call and for the super chat. And Jesus H. Angel Heart 7926. Somebody asked if you're a secret billionaire. I don't know what you do, Angel Heart, but you are incredible and so kind. I really appreciate this. Like the last, I don't even know how long. It's just been every live. Thank you for all the memberships, for the super chats. And Angel Heart said, calling all wankers to the thumbs up like button. Show Birdie some love, and I adore you all, and you know it. The Hive rocks. Goat emojis and the mod squad. Thank you, Angel Heart. Yes, please tap that like button if you have not. Thank you again. I can't say it enough. All righty. Next up, we got E-Potty or Epity. Hopefully I said that right. Not E-Potty, Epity. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Birdie?
Is it E-Potty or Epity?
It's E-Potty.
Okay. Dope. What do you got for us this evening?
All right. I don't want to offend people. I'm coming at this from a different angle.
Okay.
I don't think anybody died. Okay. I dropped in Discord U of I's 2021, 2022, and 2023 Cleary report. That report itemizes all the crimes by law on campus and off campus. There were no murders in any of those years.
That's interesting.
If they lie, if the college lies, they're fined up to and including pulling federal funding for the college.
So I'm looking this up right now. Cleary Act and crime stats. I mean, so this has been around since like the 80s or early 90s, right? It was named after Ann Cleary. Yeah, Cleary, 19-year-old from Lehigh University freshman who was raped and murdered in her dorm. Now, the reports, for whatever reason, dude, my PC won't let me on a freaking Discord right now. And I'm sorry. So I was trying to Google it. But now, when you look that up, can you explain what all statistics are on there?
Well, I mean, they break it down. It's almost like a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Homicides, robberies, assaults, burglary, arson, stalking, domestic violence, dating violence, liquor law violations, all of it. It's so that prospective students and parents can look at all the crime and say, you ain't going there. I'm not sending you there.
I see. And so, okay, so I want you to expand on that because, again, and we're just having a conversation. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So you were talking about the stats. This is obviously, it's a document that has repercussions if you lie, right? They'll pull your federal funding, which no college would want.
Right.
Now, that obviously, is that the only thing that goes into your theory on that, or is there other stuff? Okay.
Well, no. This was something I found yesterday, and it just added to. I think Brian's not a real person.
Okay.
I think Brian is created for this event. I think Brian came to WSU to actually set. It's quite possibly that he actually created the crime scene. It even says this is Ramsland. It says she's a seasoned educator, senior administrator who makes the learning experience as authentic for her students as possible, most notably recreating crime scenes to investigate. It's time-consuming, she says, but it helps them think about what to pay attention to and what doesn't make sense. Things like bloodstains flowing uphill are clues that they need to note in an investigation, and from it, deduce that the body was probably moved. I think he went out to WSU to do this. the feds were in on it. I think WSU was in on it, and I think Moscow was in on it. I'm glad to hear that last caller talk about Chief Jenkins having a meeting and not allowing the other officers to, know about it. I also know that there were a number of law enforcement that trained with the FBI before this all went down.
That's true. We hear Chief Fry talk about it now. It was a couple years earlier, but he went out to Quantico.
Right. So a number of things have happened as a result of this. Laws have been passed. I saw that WSU came out with an AI app. Now, actually, it was June 6th that thing came out, I guess. And it's supposed to help officers in the line of duty during a domestic violence dispute. So there are things that are in the works and that have already been passed. The sealing of documents proving that somebody has died is already done here in Idaho. The chairperson of WSU's criminology department, she worked for the University of Idaho for 5 years. She was responsible for in 2013, getting Washington State's legislative body to seal autopsies and death certificates.
Wow.
So if they're sharing this, she obviously knows Scott Green, right? It's not a leap to say, okay, this is how this is gonna happen. We saw it in Connecticut with Sandy Hook. We're seeing it here. It's not a coincidence to me. The only thing that makes sense of all the nonsense is that this was some scripted thing and not everybody was in on it. I mean, we saw there were multiple manners of death. They OD'd, gunshots, stabbing, choking, bludgeoning. The 8 to 10 hours of the 8 to 10 hour window of the 911 call. That's when everything was being staged, in my opinion. The plea deal. I am sure that I saw a document that had an early June date on it.
Yes.
That was crossed out. Brian initialed it and signed that document. That, I think, was the day that they were pointing to for the plea agreement. It was always going to be Brian's. Brian showed no emotion through any of this. This is the way it was going to happen. You're not going to see him plead, in my opinion, you're not going to see him plead out this September deadline. This is supposed to end. It should have ended. I think the fact that Turvey and Wickham kind of churned up all this stuff got Ann Taylor mad because this was supposed to be done.
Let me ask you something, because I always find this topic interesting, and I think that it's not even necessarily specific to this case. I think it goes into that bigger pattern, right? You think about 9/11 Vegas shooting, Sandy Hook, all of these things, right? That there's that question, the forbidden question of, did people really die, or is this the powers that be flexing their muscle a little bit with what they can get everybody to believe? So looking at it from that perspective, most times when that's done, right, there's a massive benefit to those powers. And most times that it goes into the bucket of control, right? Do you think that there is a reason they chose Moscow? Do you think it has anything to do with it being some sort of complex operation to go after the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, the Jesse James Bailey and his gang? Do you think there's any dynamic of that, or do you think it's strictly just federal dollars and pushing legislation, as you were stating earlier, potentially with DNA and the sealing of victims and photos and things like that?
It could be both or either. Okay. I really don't know. I have a little of JJ in me. I think that house was an operation house. I don't think that it was is it a coincidence that Scott Green lived there when he was young. No. And it was like a house of cards. It was built on toothpicks. It's crazy. But there's also a question of who actually lived there. I mean, some of these, it acted as if people didn't know who Kaylee was.
You know who else said that? Dr. Turvey.
Yeah.
He said, we've been told who lived there.
Right.
That's a weird comment, dude.
But keep going with that. Ethan's house, Ethan's apartment didn't look like he lived there. That was their comment. Brian's apartment didn't look like he lived there. It was almost as if Amanda Koberger shows up. It looks like Amanda Koberger. AI thinks it's Amanda Koberger. She shows up outside 1122 with a camera with Ann Taylor. I'm like, that's Amanda Koberger.
It looks like her.
Yes. And a random guy puts on an ATF jacket and just wanders through. Not one person talked about blood. So in my opinion, that came later. I think blood was added. You know, it maybe there was a fight, maybe there was, but my gut is telling me that house was so watched that the minute there were problems, they scooted those kids out of there. I pray, I don't have proof, but I pray, and my gut's telling me they're alive. There's some weird comments by some of the parents that indicate that maybe they are alive. Though they did all get cremated, so nobody can do an autopsy. That's permanent. I did see that Christie said that they didn't go and identify the body. That I guess Olivia went down and saw some photos and identified Kaylee from that, but that's not seeing the body.
Well, they didn't rush over there either. Again,
they didn't go there for a day. Because I think they knew what happened.
Well, one of the things that I appreciate about this call, E-Potty, is that I feel like you and I are probably very similar when it comes to just like we can have a conversation about anything, and I find it interesting, right? Which is how I feel about this right now. It's interesting, right? Like you have points that even people in the chat are saying like, well, yeah, that is a good point. Like they didn't rush over there. And again, it's not that we want to see the bodies, but we haven't. And yet there's how many other crime cases you see the bodies and they just have like a black bar over their eyes or,
and Birdie, would we see photos of the bodies if they OD'd? Yeah. Would we see photos of the bodies if they were shot? Possibly. But no, they had to be massacred. And the house had to drip blood for us to be so horrified that we were like, yes, seal everything. That's so horrifying. We're getting to a point where I'm like, the government, if every state does this, the government's just going to say, oh yeah, you haven't seen that guy for several months? No, he died. He died? Oh, well, prove it. No, everything's sealed. You're not family. You can't see it.
Have you seen that photo that they put out that they then redacted because it was alleged that it was Xana's body in the picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that? Because although it's like everybody has said, oh, that's Xana, oh, that's Xana. I mean, you can see like the arm of what looks like a sweatshirt. I mean, but you really can't tell.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree. But I also think, I just the other day I saw a body camera of Gilkerson walking to the front door, and whoever the officer was that was guarding it told him, yeah, there are two cops inside, and he said they're not taking pictures. Nobody's allowed to take pictures in there. Well, okay, that's fine, but they still have their iPhones and whatnot. But again, nobody's going to be able to take pictures. It's just like Sandy Hook, where the parents cannot see their children. They shooed the EMT medical guys, and they had to do trauma stuff outside, and not one kid came out, not one body, nobody. It makes no sense to me that they didn't let One guy. Just let one guy go in, look at the bodies, declare if they're dead or not. No, I don't want to be declared by a cop.
Well, that is an interesting point too, right? Like the kind of going back to what you had said about, we have heard the parents of the victims saying like, we don't even know what happened, but so
right,
there's
because,
so many dynamics in this.
Because the script was, pieces were given to, I even think my gut is telling me that crash in WSU was part of this. And what that did was that shut down one exit from Brian's complex, the Steptoe Apartments, so he had one way to get out of there. I think that was to follow him, just track him. He's coming out now. He's in his car. He's going. It's quite possible that BK was supposed to be, Kopacka was supposed to be doing this. He maybe hired him or whatnot to do this thing, this event. And he refused, and all of a sudden they, or you know, I can hear Scott Green saying, oh, no, it can't be anybody local. It's got to be somebody from way out. That's how we fix this thing. It's a lone crazy assassin that came in and just murdered these 4 people, and we got him, and everything's good again. Because that school's going to fail.
Well, it's also, by the time that fails, though, it's the most manageable narrative you can have if you're an institution and you're teamed up with other institutions, right? Like, I would consider MPD, University of Idaho, they're a team in this. And Washington State is kind of just, they're staying out of it until the Goncalves family obviously brought this lawsuit. But you can survive, I believe, as an institution. People have done it many times. You can survive one person with screws loose most times.
Yeah.
So it being an outsider, it does benefit to your argument, right? That they had to make it known. He was an outsider. He just got here. He didn't know anybody, and he's been weird the whole time. So,
yeah. And
I don't
also,
know, man, but
and also like the Banfield boys, they thought that they weren't real cops or that they were fake. Well, we didn't know if you were real. Really? Is that what's wandering around campus now, or just fake cops? I did look into cadaver farms, and there are cadaver farms in Washington State. I think Washington and Virginia have the top cadaver farms in the country that donate human bodies for investigations, for science, for drills, for whatever they have to do. So it's not a push to think, okay, this is how they set this up.
Well, I mean, I would like, you know what, Ipati, if you do you tune in quite a bit when JJ's on? And have
I absolutely.
Okay. First thing we gotta do. Are you on an airplane? We gotta get you off the airplane. You gotta land.
I know. Everybody says that.
Are you on an airplane or what is?
No. I've got multiple fans running on my PC.
Oh, nice. Well, that's funny because somebody was like, I feel like he's nosediving right now. Pull the ripcord. But I will say, dude, whenever I have JJ on next, it'd be interesting to see you two kind of bounce off of each other with that. So keep an eye out.
Okay. Listen, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. I appreciate the call. I like hearing the different perspectives. And like I said, I feel like you and I are probably very similar in like everyday life. You can just talk to people when you're interested in it. And I think the way that you brought it up was very interesting. So thank you for the call and appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
All right. Take care, bud.
Cheers. Bye. I could still hear that damn noise in my ears right now. Doesn't it feel way too quiet in here now? It's very quiet. It's too quiet. All right, we got Detective Mowry is next, and your device is disconnected per usual. Up and as always, he pops right on up. Mowry, how are you doing?
What's up, pendejo?
Jesus H. What do you got for us tonight?
I think we got a case of the JHP, brother.
The JHP.
Yep, we got that jelly hoe psychosis.
Okay, explain. Are you talking about the previous caller?
Oh no, that guy's fine.
Oh, what is a jelly hoe psychosis then?
Jealous hoe psychosis.
Oh, I got you. I've never heard of that acronym before.
Yeah, I made it up because it doesn't really, it doesn't exist.
Oh, so you think referring to the motive, JHP?
Yeah, hell yeah. Holler at that JHP a little bit, bro.
Oh, Jesus. And who is the JHP in this case?
I don't know, probably Dylan and her crackhead boyfriend.
So, dude, I don't think I've ever asked you actually. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Quid? Do you think Quid was there that night? Do you believe the Boise alibi?
I don't have enough information to know any of that. So
okay. Well, that's a very logical answer.
I wish that I had more substance thought for you on that, but I haven't really heard shit about him or where his devices were or text messages to and from. So I mean, I don't know. He seems like a weird guy, shady guy. So I mean, he's probably in on that JHP too. So
well, I mean, so you said Dylan and her sketchy ass boyfriend. I mean, how did the boyfriend come into play then? That's why I was kind of asking you about him.
I don't know. He just seems like a sketchy ass dude, and I'm sure if he's ever spent a night with Dylan, he knows how like crazy she is sleepwalking and stabbing shit. So I mean, he's got to know how crazy she is. You know how crazy your girl is.
Mrs. Birdie's not crazy. Mrs. Birdie's like the perfect amount of crazy, just enough to keep it interesting sometimes. But I think you need that. You need a little bit of it.
But you know how crazy that is.
I kind of like a little bit of crazy. Does that make me weird?
No. What I'm saying though is that you are aware of the level of crazy she is, just like he would be aware of how crazy her ass was. So
yes, it's like the crazy to hot Matrix. If you've ever seen that video,
what is it?
Have you ever seen the crazy hot Matrix?
No.
Oh, phenomenal video. It's hilarious. I think it's actually detectives. They're talking about like you have to find who you deem to be attractive enough as a woman and then just crazy enough, and you can't let it get out of tilt. It's hard for me to explain. You just got to go search it up. Just look up crazy hot matrix ratio. You'll laugh.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more that Quinn's alibi probably is probably true. He probably was hightailing it out of Moscow and getting as far away from her as possible. So
it was his ass doing high knees out.
Yeah, he was high knees straight to Boise. Yeah, that makes way more sense. Holy shit. Yeah, got the JHP and the high knees just all the way to Boise, bro.
Oh my God, dude. I don't know why that just made me laugh so hard thinking about someone's boyfriend doing high knees to get away from her out there. That's what she ends up reporting to the FBI, dude.
A grown man doing high knees inside a house is just a funny thought, really, no matter who.
It really is. It's like running with a backpack. You can't ever look normal and run with a backpack on. You always have to like kind of like half stride, half jog. I don't know why that's the first example that just came to my head, but I mean, Jesus.
You do that shuffle walk, like you almost you have to poop, but you don't really have to.
Yes.
With the backpack, try to do that little run.
Yes, that's exactly right, man. Oh, that was a fun.
Yeah. I don't know. The last guy, I think that plenty of people died. I don't think the detectives, including myself, are smart enough in that region to pull off anything. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that theory's floated out there for quite a bit, and I mean, again, it's just people can make their points, and I've heard people make way less arguments towards just like leading up and surrounding factors, right? Than E-Potty did for sure. I mean, there's just been people that have not backed it up. I mean, if you're gonna make that claim, right? You have to show receipts. I feel like a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but there's that's a wild one. But I mean, you're entitled. Everybody's got their opinion, and we all got some crazy thoughts. But
True.
yeah, I don't think the families would have been so. I don't think Steve G, as much as I dislike his antics, I don't think he would have been as pissed off and angry if she was just in the Bahamas and got
True.
witness protection. So like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I agree, brother, and I appreciate the call, Maury. As always, it was great chatting with you. I hope you call in next Friday.
Oh well, if I'm off work, I will. I'll do some high knees, get some JHPs, and we'll get down to some business on the telephone, bro.
I love it. You have a good night, man.
All right, man. You too, buddy.
Yep. Peace. Bye. All righty, dude. That hurt my freaking cheeks from thinking about someone's boyfriend doing high knees away from them. It caught me kind of off guard too. It was like a slow burning joke. I'm not letting my dog off the roof. My dog is whining to get out of the room. So give me 2 seconds. No, Lambo, go. All righty. Next up, we got Blue Mustang. How are you doing?
Hey, Birdie, how you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. What do you got for us this evening?
All right, I'm going to switch over to my notes, and it might make me cut out. One thing I've noticed of there's an uncountable amount of odd things in this case. So that's why there's like a million theories. One thing that I was watching while people were getting these things released, like dash cam footage and body cam footage and things like that, is when Noons is talking to Dylan and he's like, well, they're not with us.
Yes.
And she's like, they're not?
They're not? Like too early. She like hit her line too early.
No, it sounded like she meant like they weren't there. Like they're not here. That's what it sounded. That was my interpretation of how she sounded. Like where the hell are they if they're not there? And he's like, they're not with us anymore. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, oh yeah. Like, how do you have a reaction like that? Like, oh yeah, like that's what you meant. Oh yeah. Well, that would be correct. I mean, that's how she reacted to him saying that was, oh yeah. And
See,
I'm like,
I
what?
thought you were going to go the other way with that and say that like she was kind of like, they're not, like it was receiving the news they were already dead.
No. I saw it as him trying to tell her, well, they're no longer with us, and because that's how she was freaking out. And then he's like, they're not here. And she's like, they're not. And then he's like, with us. And then she's like, oh yeah. Obviously.
Yes, I see.
Like pretty much. That was how she acted.
Like pretty much.
That was one thing. That's so weird. She also called them the other women in that body cam footage. I'm like, the other women. Like the other women, like I don't know if she was saying something about them being home or she didn't know when they were home or if they were home. She was making it sound like she didn't know because remember, it was all about Xana. When she's like, it was all about Xana, but she didn't know anything about the other women that were there. And I'm like, other women, these are people that you were so best friends with, you went and got matching tattoos after like the same week. But then in another interview, she couldn't even spell Kaylee's last name.
There's a couple of questions
properly.
that she didn't know. And I get it. Roommates, maybe you don't know them that well, but
you love them so much, you went and got a tattoo that matched their tattoos.
True.
So that was that part. This is like one thing that recently came out with the what recently was that Kaylee, when for one thing, she was moved. So everyone knows that by now. But I asked over and over again, and in the comments, people had said that the livor mortis was only in Kaylee's back only. So if she was moved, it would have been hours. It would have been hours and hours because there would have been pulling elsewhere. That's one thing that's odd. So this can't be a quick hit and do it done in 10 minutes and leave if they were their throats. Well, we know those details. The cuts across their necks, so that way I don't get you flagged. Those were post-mortem, and she was moved. So how can all that be done in 7 minutes? If she was moved hours later and their throats were done post-mortem. That's one thing that's really odd. So that couldn't have been someone that did this in 5 minutes and ran off. Also, her phone and the vape pen was underneath her. So I think it's very strange that considering her last text message was, "Hey Jack, come get your vape pen," if she doesn't pass away until an hour and a half later, why would that still be underneath her? Was she sleeping with it like a teddy bear? Why would that be there? Like, that is to me, in my opinion, that's the closest time of death, because that was when she was active. She messaged him about the vape pen, and then when something bad happens to her an hour and a half later, it's still under her, like she slept with that, like she slept with it. That don't make no sense to me.
Well, I will say I have fallen asleep, it's the best habit that I've ever kicked. By the way, not to change subjects, but I stopped vaping because of streaming, because I would hate editing and just hate seeing like how I would hit it so much more vaping or streaming. I've fallen asleep with a vape and I've woken up where it's like on my chest or like stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean,
I think it's
could see
strange,
your
like it's the
argument,
last
though.
message that she sends, and
Yes, that is
then if she was moved hours later, how could someone have done that, left real quick, and then she's moved?
and then it's still there. I get your point.
Well, not just that, but her liver mortis was only in her back. It wasn't anywhere else. So it wasn't like she was moved 5 minutes later. It would have been hours later.
Yeah.
And then her post-mortem wounds, well, that's not someone doing this real quick and leaving. So even that alone, I mean, like even these autopsy releases alone, someone was there for a while. No one was in and out. Just that alone. A lot of people asked, why didn't Jack answer the phone? Because Christy said that they tried to call Jack over and over, but he was being detained. No, he wasn't. And a lot of interviews. No, he wasn't. He wasn't detained.
He didn't even know if he was. He said
He
that
was
himself.
Well, if he was in the back of the cop car and they were calling him, I just saw Lena pop in there a few times, and I'll ask Jules too. Why don't those people do a FOIA on the dash cam in the car? Because is Jack getting phone calls? Is he making phone calls? Because Chrissy said they tried to call him and he couldn't answer because he was detained, and no, he was not. So were they calling him, or was he avoiding their calls? Because that's a recorded, enclosed space. So people are like, well, why didn't he answer for them? Well, he's being recorded. Why would he?
That's such a good idea with the interior dash
And
cam.
he was just sitting there like, I don't know what's going on. Another funny thing is, you got the girl that ran down and ran to Jack's house, and then everyone scattered like roaches. Well, yeah, because the frat house is safe. They're untouchable once they get there. And then how is he going to act like he didn't know anything when there's a video camera of a girl running over there with a blanket for some reason, and a blanket coming back, which is weird, probably to get shit out of her house. And everyone ran to the frat house because they're untouchable there, which makes this even more weird.
What did you think about the caller that had brought up that girl who was running and saying, is that when the footage of the light bulb cam was passed along?
I don't know. I mean, like, Jack, was he even, I mean, I don't know, when he was even awake. I think everyone woke up at the same time. Didn't he roll up like an hour after that?
Well, he rolled up later by himself for sure.
But it was like a while after that.
I
Like
don't know.
a good half hour or something. I know that.
I don't think it was an hour though, no.
And then I think it's strange that he's like, I'm here for my dog. But in a recent video, someone mentioned that he didn't even want that dog. It was kind of like used. It really wasn't his. He really didn't want the dog. But then it is strange that he's like, I'm just here for my dog, but doesn't even ask where Kaylee is. Didn't even ask where she's at, what happened to her, what's going on. He's not freaking out. That's all kind of weird too. That's why it's
Do you think?
To me, it's so strange that there's so much rolling around the frats, because also day one, which I think it's a normal thought to be like, man, this is going to affect the town. But when Payne said it, he said it day one. before their bodies were even out of the house. He's like, this is going to affect the university because they've just increased their attendance. And that's so weird. That just gives a motive for the cops to really put this in a different perspective, because it's like, we got to save the town type situation. And when people think that towns can't do cover-ups, the Steubenville grape case involved the mayor, the coach, the high school, and an IT team in the high school and everything. That was deep. And that was a small little town too. And there are little towns that don't want to wind up like Youngstown or Middletown. I'm from Ohio. So what happens when your main income gets shattered? You wind up like the town just becomes like a crack town. I mean, and they think that they're like, we can't let this, we got to keep this town, manageable and save this town. I just think that so many things point to the frats that it's, hey, yep, I'm from Ohio. I'm from Cincinnati too. So I think it's just so strange that from day one, it was like, I'm wondering if all the untested stuff was tested under the table. I mean, people can't act like this stuff can't happen, where, hey, let's just go see who's involved, and then, well, I guess we're gonna have to like rewrite this. And none of the interviews on paper match up with the interviews on video. Like Christy said that the house was trashed because they had a party. The house that we've seen, the house, it was not trashed like partiers. And according to Dylan, they had did a deep clean.
Yeah.
Then she said that. Sorry, one more to piggyback off that. Christy said that the killer was sloppy and things were everywhere. No, they weren't. Like nothing they said matched when the paperwork came out.
Yes, and I was going to say too, just to agree with your point about the trashed. When I think of trashed, I think of like a Project X type. Like that house is effed. You know what I'm saying? Not just like classic college age kids with a bunch of roommates. I mean, we've seen TikToks of them. They're doing their chores, right? Like they've clearly had some sort of upkeep with the house. The cleaning comment I do find a little bit weird. You brought up some really good points.
I also think it's weird that when he did his plea, I'm pretty sure that was the day that he was very tan and very cut.
Oh, yeah.
That's so weird. It's like, who does that? And it's not. The theory of like a cover up or someone to take the fall. It's so, and the reason why people think these things is because things have actually happened. It's not like we're inventing things. I mean, history repeats itself. So it's like, you're not crazy to think that the 40 other times this has happened, that this didn't happen again. With a town that we needed to cover something up, who was really around. I mean, like, creepy pastas, or how many of those do people think really happened because it sounds so real when people were, you can invent people. I don't know. Then it's like, you're not trying to be disrespectful, but it's like, there's so many, like, I don't know, like, how do you not go check on your kid? Honestly, some of the descriptions, it just looks like Kaylee and Xana were attacked with a rat tail comb. And a lot of people probably don't understand what that is, but the ladies will know what that is.
Can you explain for
us people that don't? For the guys, it's a comb and it has a really thin, I want to say it's thick as a toothpick, but it's about 8 inches. And when you part your hair, or you need a piece of your hair, or you're using to style your hair, you'll use the pick end of this comb to pull down pieces of your hair. And it's really, really thin. It's about as thin as a toothpick, but it's about 8 inches. And it's like a steel piece of the handle of the comb is just a long, straight piece of steel with a pointy tip. And you pull pieces. You braid with it, you part your hair with it, and it's metal. And people were in this one live were wondering what they could have been, because they were apparently injured in their face like 8 or 9 times. And there was one injury on Xana that was just in and out, but it was like, people are like, what could that have been? And I was like, that sounds like a rat tail comb to me. only because I have one every day and I'm using it.
So you would
and there's
stab somebody
multiple
with it.
weapons. And also, I think that Kaylee and Maddie were attacked, like the theory of if this happened simultaneously, and Maddie was attacked by someone right-handed, and Kaylee was attacked by someone left-handed, because their injuries are mirrored, not exactly matching, but also if someone did this so quickly, the position, because I've watched some of the live streams where the position of the knife is like backwards or different, and there's different weapons too. Like with the description, if there's a flat end, like if you go get out your knife, you've got the end that you cut with, and then the end that isn't cutting you is flat. So they know the angle of the knife, and it changed on both of them. Like especially Kaylee, there was like, how are you going to twist your hand backwards to?
Right. And that wouldn't inflict the damage if you were to hit somebody with that side, right? Like you could obviously it would still
Well,
probably
not
do
that
something to the
not
skin,
that
but
side. It's just if you're holding it, and if you switch
oh,
hands,
I see.
then the knife is like upside
Yes.
down, and it's
I
like,
see
how
what
could
you mean.
someone do that at the same time in the minutes that are like, according to them, 5 or 6 minutes? There's just so much. There's so much that there's easily 10 theories, and nothing. I mean, the one thing Steve did say that was right was nothing matches.
That's true. I'm
I mean,
looking up just so people can see this comb.
they're even carved. They're even carved on their faces. Yeah, see?
Oh,
Well,
I've
now,
seen Mrs.
see?
Birdie has this. She's got one of those in the drawer.
Yeah, and some of them are just a pure piece of metal.
Yeah, right here.
And
Okay.
you gotta figure that's not deep.
It almost
Like
kind of looks like something you'd grab too, just like off someone's desk, like in the room, and just
Yeah.
like, is that something you'd bring to attack somebody with? I feel like that's
Well,
a weapon of opportunity.
in a house full of girls that fix their hair, I mean, you wouldn't. No one's bringing that to that house. It's just there.
Interesting. That's a good point. Do you think that wound on Xana is that?
Well, Kaylee had like 8 or 9 of them in her
Or
face.
Kaylee, yes, sorry, thank you.
I think the one in Kaylee was that, and I think that the one in Xana was that, because there was like one with Xana, like in her shoulder or something.
I mean, yeah, Luna just said you'd bring it with your handheld vacuum. Oh man, you bring up some good points.
I think also it's very strange that Dylan over and over is like, well, I was obviously drunk. Obviously. I was still obvious. It's like, who are you trying to convince? And they're just sitting there like a bunch of dummies, like, I guess you obviously were.
Well,
like,
I mean,
if someone tried to like tell their parents they weren't doing something when they were, that's what it sounded like to me.
The analogy of it was, shoot, I don't remember if it was Turvey or Wickham, forgive me, but one of them have kind of made the analogy of it's like when you're a small child and you know something breaks in a different room, so you send your sibling in there to find it, and they're like, and then you play dumb, and you're like, what happened? I didn't know.
I just
Right?
ran by and she was naked, so I went downstairs because I was so scared, but I thought she was okay. I mean, I don't even know what. Like, I know we've all heard those, and it's like, how do you run by, but you're so scared, but you're not scared because nothing ever happens? But then I would be running out of the house. I'm telling you what, I don't, I don't know how you could think something like that is going on. Because didn't they message some of those things too? Like, I think they
Steve?
just offed everyone. No, Dylan and Bethany, because there's been so many
yes.
releases. Didn't they say? I think someone just I'm not trying to get you like flagged or whatever.
No, you could say that. I do know what you're referring to though, and it was in Steve G's text, the ones that I'm remembering at least, where Steve G was saying what the alleged text at the grand jury of Dylan sending said, which were he was describing like she had even said at one point, I'm pretty sure somebody just killed them.
Well,
That's the only time that I think I've seen
half
that.
the stuff that he says doesn't even have receipts either.
True, that's true.
And I feel like I feel like they were told a lot, and they want to believe that. And then when you want to believe something, and then you've came to peace with that, like they're not gonna want to believe anything else, even though half the stuff that they did say has been like debunked. and they will not budge on anything, even from the beginning. The stalker thing, like they are still saying that, and like I'm wondering what the heck they were. I don't even know why. Like then, I'm wondering if he really is just a student because he also studied injustices in the prison, plea deals, and it's like, what is the irony that he lets himself get in this situation? And he's like, sure, I'll take a plea deal because I'm going to be a method actor, and we're gonna like you're gonna see all this because now all this is coming out, and it there's mislabeled things. The sheath was repackaged twice. I don't know, none of the things are matching. Nothing is matching up at all to anything that's ever been thought of or said with the paperwork that's being released, which I haven't even watched all of it. I can only watch so much, and it's
Right.
with everyone going through it. It's like, you know,
I agree. I agree.
and then like the fight that broke out, but everyone said it didn't, but someone said it did, and then just there's a lot of like um if I had to think of one thing, it would be there's a lot of, in my opinion, I think it's the frats are involved. And also someone mentioned a long time ago that the cops are still really young and half of them are in their 20s. Like the ones that responded were really young, like maybe 24, 23, and they were probably all frats too.
Well, yeah, you get to hear them in the interviews sometimes say like, "Oh, is that room still set up that way?" Like, "Oh, you guys got single rooms now. We had to bunk it up." Like they kind of talk about the glory days at
Like it's a
times.
buddy system. Yeah. And so, when you got a buddy system where the whole town is like that, I mean, it, how can you not suspect some type of cover up by someone? Because something that small, you practically would expect it.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And I appreciate the call, Blue Mustang. You brought up some great points, and I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Thank you too.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Hive, if we get to 1,000 likes tonight, by the time that we get through these last couple of callers, I will gift out some memberships here. We are close. All righty. Next up, we have Beck's Hats, and then backstage we have Kyle's or Noah's mom, Maya, and oh God, Hive. We have Fidus Frog Hair backstage. Last caller, as usual, with Fidus Frog Hair. So excited for that. But anyways, Beck's Hats, how are you doing this evening? Backstats. Oh, let me put you backstage 1 second.
I'm good, but I can't hear you again for whatever reason.
How about now?
Let me try again.
You're gonna have to here. I'll drop the link for you, Backstats. All right. So Backstats, it's a little bit delayed. Make sure, guys, that you exit out of YouTube. Otherwise, it'll delay like that. So Backstats mods, if she's asking where it's at, just let her know that it's in there. Please, only Backstats click that. All right. Next up, we're gonna skip ahead to Noah's mom. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. We got you loud and clear. What do you got for us this evening?
Well, I have to say, a long-time listener, first-time caller.
First one of the night, baby. Love it. I love it. That's my favorite thing. All right. Start off on a great note. Let's hear what you got.
All right. If I'm starting to go too long, let me know and tell me to shut up, and I will. I've been following this case since, it first came out in the media, and right from the word go, I felt that Brian Koberger wasn't guilty. The whole, fact that he's got a PhD in criminology, a high IQ, then was diagnosed with Asperger's, well, autism, but really, I think it's Asperger's, that I just don't like to use that word anymore.
Because of this case?
Sorry?
Because of this case?
No, they're just with the autism. For some reason, they've put Asperger's. They just call it autism now, which my oldest son has got Asperger's with an IQ of 160. And I actually feel that it's really wrong, because if you have a child that's got, say, level 3 autism that is nonverbal and just struggling to cope with the most basic living skills, I think it's pretty insulting that they've then put people that are able to live an ordinary life in the same category. I just think that it's sort of taking away the recognition of the struggle of
I see
people
what you're saying.
that have more severe autism or different. It's just really a different type of thing. I don't understand it. But anyway, I just think that I'm 99% sure that his type of autism is Asperger's, which is usually just troubles with social skills and so reading emotion and social cues and things like that. And they they'll get hooked on subjects and dive into them deep. Like they don't just have, it's never just like a hobby that they just look at on the surface. They're right into it. So for Brian to be a criminology student doing his PhD and a TA, he's going to know everything about the law in that area. And yet we're supposed to believe that with all that education and even like his natural kind of abilities and everything, that he jumped in his own car that would have been more noticeable because it was from interstate, so the plates were different. And he took his own phone, crossed the state line, and went into a death penalty state and murdered 4 people that he didn't know, one of which probably could have, overpowered him unless he somehow knew that he was out of action in some way. To me, just straight up, that's what got me right in the beginning as to why I just thought, like, no, there's something up here. This isn't right. But
do you have a theory as to how they got him involved then? Like, I agree with your point that it's sent me in the past, again, being the longtime listener, that you said the line in the beginning, but just the whole simple mistakes thing is just like, come on, criminology or not, that's like common sense 101, some of the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you'd have to be a complete moron to make those mistakes, let alone all of those mistakes. Like, it wasn't just one thing, to do all of those things. And even like, he got fired from that job filleting fish, and yet he's supposed to have all these amazing knife skills that he can be in and out and kill all these people within minutes without leaving any of his DNA in the house or bringing any of the DNA of any of the people with him or cross-contaminating the knife that he used with any of the people. I mean, it's not even doable.
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he had lax ligaments too, which is like, I think that's pretty common with autism. Like, I know my son does. And so that would have been, one of the reasons he found it hard to fillet fish, just the fine motor skills of being able to do that. And he's a vegetarian or vegan, which my son is as well. And it just goes against the whole type of person that he is, that he would be able to stomach going in and doing that to people when he doesn't even like eating meat because he doesn't like the thought of animals being killed.
That's so true.
So, yeah, all of that to me was that was the initial thing, that it was just like, oh, you've got to be kidding. There's absolutely no way. And then, like, the whole DNA on the knife sheath, it's like, well, I don't even see how that can even be considered. Like, it wouldn't have stood up in court. They haven't done anything to prove it. And I don't see how, even after the documents have dropped, the law enforcement can justify not processing all the DNA evidence, the blood, the hair. Like, how can they just ignore it? Like, it's come to the public's attention. I'm in Australia. I'm on the other side of the world. I know about it. How can that still be sitting there not processed?
It's the weirdest thing. And there's no explanation for it either.
No, that's the thing. Like, they're just acting like it's nothing to see here. And I also, what else have I got? Oh, so yeah, what other major case or any case do you see where they've got their suspect who's, I'm innocent, I haven't done anything, and then the next minute they plead guilty, but there's no, well, how did you do it? Why did you do it? When did you do it? When does that ever happen? And if even for Trump to be asking, and yet, no, we don't want that. We don't want to explain. The whole thing is just unbelievable. And it's like, how can this still be going on? How can this not have been resolved? Like, it's just unbelievable to me.
It is.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, will anybody ever reveal what's happening? Or is this just we're supposed to just forget about it? And Brian's family was supposed to forget that they have a son. His life doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. It doesn't give doesn't give people faith in the whole system, whole justice system, if this can just happen. So
look at the comment that Gramilla just said. Imagine saying you're not going to ask because the defendant's going to lie when he's lied straight to these families' faces for years. The audacity of this old bleep. I mean, with Bill Thompson, it's a good point, Gramilla, right? Like, you're going to say he would just lie anyways. I mean, really?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I also found it extremely strange that Bill Thompson, after the plea agreement, then makes a point of saying that they have tried to find a connection between Brian Koberger and the victims, and they've tried to place him at the house but haven't been able to. Why did he make that point? Wouldn't you think he would have shut up about that? But he made a point out of it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, which to me is just why? It's really strange that he would make that point. And the other thing that I wanted to speak about was Dylan. Dylan the wanker. Dylan the wanker. So I saw on another channel, I've never watched Vampire Diaries, and I tried to watch an episode of it, but I couldn't put myself through it. But apparently, Legacy's season 1, episode 9, there are a lot of parallels between Dylan's story and this episode. So the woman with the big nose, apparently in this episode, it's about some woman that goes into their dreams who's got a big nose, who is described as really nice, but actually has evil intent. And there's something about high knees, and also the comment that Dylan made that she overheard them saying everything will be all right, I'm here to help you, or whatever it was. There's something about that in there. And so I went into AI, Gemini one, the one that they have on Android phones, and I asked it to compile a table of things that were parallel from what Dylan had said in her statements and that to the police, and what that episode had in it. And AI started to do the table for me, and then it was just doing it really broadly. So I gave it a couple more prompts to make it more succinct and to kind of narrow in on what I wanted. And then it ended up saying that it couldn't do it because this was a major case. And
really?
Yeah, and that it's not allowed to. And I said, well, it's not illegal to do that. And it said, no, it's not allowed. It's not illegal, but we're not allowed to. It's a major case and it's an ongoing case. And I said, no, the case is closed.
Oh, man.
And then it brought up the Washington State University case and used that as its excuse. So I found that really interesting, that AI is even corrupted with this.
Did you screenshot that?
Or
is it in your history? Might be in your history.
I can probably find it. Yeah, because it started to do it, and then I think I said something like, it said something about Brian Koberger was guilty, and I corrected and I said, well, no, there was no hearing, there was no trial. He pled guilty, there's no proof. And then it's like AI just turned on me. It was quite frustrating.
Man, I'd be interested to see the wording of that because I've noticed it's happening way more often, not just with stuff about this case, but I've noticed it even on Google. You try to look up Idaho 4, you type in a very specific words that in the past, like the SEO, the search engine has pulled up. If you say, whatever, like Idaho 4 interview with this person, isn't it weird? Like if you type in, Bill Thompson, even though I've searched it a bunch of times, you're telling me that a prosecutor from one of the most talked about cases isn't on this page at all?
Oh.
Scott Green. And I've searched Scott Green, Idaho. Nothing really. I mean, I guess you got this picture, but everything else, just a good headshot. Look, he's throwing up the peace sign here. I mean, it's crazy. And it doesn't matter. I haven't cleared the search history at all. There's nothing on there. Except really, just, I don't know. To me, it's weird because that's not how it used to be. And it seems like there's definitely something that has been, there's an active scrubber almost in a way.
Well, it's Google. Like if you Googled something 5 years ago and you Google something now, is it the same system that's bringing up the answers or is it all influenced by AI now?
I would guess that they've probably adapted with their technology. That's a good point. Because it'd be weird if it didn't, right? I mean, Google used to just be, not that anybody needs any lesson on it or that I'm saying anything you don't know. It's just Google would populate to the top of the list. For example, it's very similar to if you get likes on social media, right? Well, this one got more likes, so people must like this more. We're going to put this one above, that one. And that's really all it was, is how many searches would you get? How many clicks would you get? Now I feel like there's all these keywords and there's that you could pay people to do the SEO for you and the description matter. I mean, it's a whole science to try to figure out this damn AI algorithm to get populated if you have a business that's online. So,
yeah. It really does influence what people think. And even like, as I said, when I tried to steer it into like more direction of where I wanted to, what I wanted it to do, it's like it rebelled against me.
Yeah. It's
said, I'm giving you nothing then.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I mean, it's true. It gets me all fired up too.
The other thing I just want to touch on was the whole thing about Malwich. I think he was the person that was the that who they thought was the fifth person who was taken to hospital. They assumed he was a student. And he probably got sepsis through the wounds. I don't know how cold it was there. It always looks cold there when I see snow.
It was probably cold.
Yeah, so if he's walking around in that and he's unwell, then I guess that's what's killed him. And like the whole thing with Kopacker, from what I saw, it looked like the police totally escalated that situation, which is the opposite of what they're supposed to do. But what I'm wondering is if they had the opportunity to say, okay, this was Kopacker and Malwich, why bring Brian into it?
I have so many thoughts on that, and we need to go. Somebody had brought up, maybe it was JJ. JJ brought up the Brent Kopaka body cam and how it almost felt like it was like some sort of training for de-escalation. I've only ever watched the Brent Kopaka body cam 2.5 times fully, and it's been on my mind since he said that. So that could be a very interesting thing to go. We've never watched it or shown it in here. That could be something that we maybe dive into next week. I don't know if anybody's interested. Type of one to look into the Brent Kopaka angle next week. But you bring up some very good points. Should I call you Noah's mom, or should I call you
Kylie?
Kylie. Well, thank you so much for the call. First time caller, long time listener. Love it. You get the GOAT award for saying that this evening.
Oh,
And I hope you
thank
have a
you.
fantastic weekend.
Thank you. I also just want to say good luck and congratulations on your baby girl.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Kylie. You have a good one.
All right. You too. Thank you.
Cheers. Yep. Bye-bye. I love this. I love this so much. This is so awesome to hear from everybody. All right. We got, you know what? Maya, you're next. Hive, I got to piss. All right. I'm just going to say this time. My dog's not actually on the roof. I have to pee. I'll be right back. But we will finish it up. All right. We're back. We're going to finish on a strong note. This has been an awesome call in. And we got beyond reasonable doubt or beyond Maya. Maya, how are you doing? Yes.
Doing good. How are you? It's been a while.
Yes, it has. It's good to hear from you again.
Oh, yes, yes. I've been excited with all these new docs coming out. I spent 8 million hours watching all these interviews.
Yeah. Would anything come out of the interviews that you picked up on?
You know what? A lot. And it mostly is tying into, I want to really focus in on Kennedy and Yessie or Yesenia,
Okay.
especially with their statements of seeing Dylan and how the girls got home and what time they got home. The biggest one is with Yessie, the fact that she called in to say like, Dylan definitely was not drunk. For her to remember that and call that in, it must have left a big impact, and she must have felt confident enough to say like, yeah, no, that's not right. So I went back into some of the reports because I remember in the MPD's documents. I sent you a couple screenshots to your email, but I remember the two officers that were making laps around doing the trying to bust the kids with alcohol. I can't remember their names.
Do you want me to pull those up?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Did you send them to Birdie's Hive Mind?
I did.
Okay, cool. Because I used to have Birdie Bombshell 00, and that email is out of commission.
And that was hooked up to your OnlyFans.
Yes, precisely. I made it. Never mind. I'm joking. That's a rumor that is not true.
It's
Did you? Okay, so here we go. I got the.
So this was back. I remember reading this at the very, very beginning. He was talking about driving past 1122 around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and saying that he saw a group of individuals and they were by the parking lot on the east side. And he confirmed that one of them had, or at least two of them had blue hair, or not blue hair, blonde hair. And he confirmed, I'm thinking Blue Chew's on the mind right now.
Blue Chew Gold, perhaps.
Whoa. And he confirmed his time by saying, just when he turned around the corner, he ran into the kids that he pulled over at like 3:22. So he has the time range locked in, which makes me believe that Kennedy's statement was true. But everyone was trying to, say like, oh, she's got the wrong time. They're going off Idaho time. They're going off of Boise time. But it kind of makes a lot more sense that if Kennedy is saying that she walked home, Dylan and Bethany and a group of girls, and remembers the exact route that they took and when they said goodbye to each other, Dylan and Lakeland's story about getting home by a car ride by Sobro and getting home at like 1-ish, it makes that timeline, that whole situation, right? Like, why are they covering that? What happened during that time that they are trying to cover for each other?
It's a good point.
So I don't know if anybody else has pulled that thread or followed that down the path, but
I love that thing.
I definitely think pull that thread. So I know somebody's gonna find something good, but it's been driving me insane. Yeah, this is also talking about the whereabouts of Xana. Who saw who last? Dylan, and then also this was talking about the hotel. Because I know a lot of people were saying no, they didn't go to a hotel, but they were. And when they went to the hotel, they had 8 million people coming over to this hotel room and talking. That could definitely have been a point where they got all of their friends come together and be like, guys, if they interview you, you can't say this, you can't say that you saw us there, like this, getting their story together. And I feel like that alone should have been a huge breaking point for Ann Taylor.
I totally agree. It also wouldn't be unreasonable if the police went to there as well and started dishing out narratives, or like anybody could have access to that at that time.
Exactly. And why, if these girls just witnessed a murder or were around when a murder happened, wouldn't you think you would put them in a more protective space and not in a public hotel that anybody can stop by?
You would think.
But yeah, that's a thought. I was going through those old ones and I don't know.
Those are good. No, I appreciate it. And I think that the Kennedy, somebody else had brought that up earlier this week. I think it was last week, actually. Dead Men Awake. He said he feels like Kennedy could have just been inserted into this she was so confident about the 2 a.m. timeline.
Yeah, because she was she was making multiple stops home. She's walking with a group. She was walking with Dylan, Bethany, and other females home. So this whole Sobro, like them getting a ride, it didn't make any sense to her. And of course that would stick out to me too if I was walking a bunch of people home and I know who I walked home with and they're telling everybody else, oh no, we got a car ride and then we were watching a show and then we made popcorn. Like that doesn't make sense. So
okay, I'm gonna try to show something this week. Speaking of like the Sobros, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this because it kind of has a lot to do with it. I'm just kind of working with the visuals still. But I caught something on the light bulb cam. I can't even describe it. It's hard to describe without showing the screenshots. But Friday next week, if I'm able to get those done, I wanted you to call in and tell me about it. Tell me your thoughts on it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Maya. You have a great night.
You too. Bye, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye. All righty. So Finest Frog Hair and Bex Tats. I feel like Finest Frog Hair needs to be the last call. Finish with some energy. So I'm going to bring Bex Tats up because the button wasn't working last time for her. She couldn't hear me. So Bex Tats, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We got you loud and clear now.
Lord have mercy. Technology is going to drive me crazy.
That's okay. It happens.
All right. I need to pull up my notes because I'm an old lady and I've heard so much stuff tonight that I can't even get it all sorted. So last night I watched you and JJ, and he said something about, oh, we were all stupid when we were 20, we were all messing around, and yeah, we all had alcohol and stuff like that. But like, my son has right hemispheric encephalomalacia from his accident, which means that he really literally only has half of a brain, and he knows how to call 911.
That's
so
powerful for sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you're that scared, that's like your first instinct, right? Is to call for help.
And I think too, like to that point, I mean, yeah, you say that's very powerful. There's also countless examples of toddlers calling 911. There's got to come a point where we have to say that the reason for not calling could also be, it could be in combination with something else that's not just the cleanup. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. It's very broad, but I'm saying there has to be another dynamic to the 911 delay that picks up traction. That's not just cleanup and posing the bodies. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it makes sense. It kind of like, I was watching that Netflix documentary, Maternal Instinct or whatever.
Yep.
And you can hear the mother who finds her daughter, and she is like bloody murder screaming, somebody killed my daughter. Like, she's seeing all of this blood and she's screaming, my baby, my baby, my baby. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense, especially if, she sees the man, but I'm not going to just chalk it up and say, well, she was stupid. I mean, I think that she is, but I'm not just going to be like, well, maybe she didn't know. No, this is a college person. This is a person that has been accepted into college, graduated high school, basic. We know how to do this in kindergarten.
Yep.
911. People overseas, 999. I mean, like, they know this is what you do.
Wait, 911 is not a worldwide emergency number?
No, I believe over in the UK, it's 999.
I would have bet I'd be cooked. I'd be the next person that didn't call for 8 hours. And I would say, I've tried calling 911. They'd be like, does everybody think this idiot really didn't know that it's only a US thing? That would happen to me because I didn't know that.
That's funny.
I didn't know.
Well, if you ever travel abroad, 999.
Wow. All right. Thank you. You just prevented a disaster potentially.
Yeah, see, Ben Folds kick if you said 999.
Yeah.
Too. Yep.
I can't be the only one that didn't know that in here, Hive.
I watch a lot of like true crime, so I see it from all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all different.
Oh my God, there's everywhere. There's 000 in Australia. I don't know where Hangman's joke's from. His is 6969. I think he's obviously joking, right? There's no way an emergency number's that. But 000-999 or 111. Wow. The UK's got 2. Gurmila said, go off, Taj Mahal. Oh, please. Okay. Thank you, Tara. Tara didn't know either. Okay. All right. Sorry for distracting everybody.
That's okay. And then I sent a Hive Mind find like a super long time ago. I think it was like a year ago, about like, if you're in an Uber driver, in a car, and you have your water bottle and you forget your water bottle and you leave your DNA in the car. That was me. Also, my husband is the one that thinks you sound like Ron DeSantis. We have this argument every day. I'm like, he does not sound like that. I don't know what you're
I don't
talking
hear
about.
it either. Mrs. Birdie didn't hear it either.
He's like, you're watching Ron again? I'm like, no.
That's funny. I've never been told, like, that is the only time that anybody's ever said my voice sounds like that. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, I disagree with him, and we talk about it often.
Appreciate that.
But
Appreciate that.
so I was talking about that in the Hive Mind Find about the DNA and how your DNA is literally everywhere we go. Think about how many times you go out in public and you touch a doorknob or you touch, the toilet flush handle or the sink or whatever. So your DNA can literally be anywhere, right?
Yes.
And so I think that this case feels like this is what they're setting us up for. Does that I'm like, this is like how it's gonna go going forward. Like if we find your DNA in a crime scene, because I mean, I've been in the Pulse nightclub. I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Oh, that's
I mean,
got shot up, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been there. So, I don't know how often they clean the bathrooms around there, but I'm sure that I've left DNA in that same exact bathroom.
True.
That doesn't mean that I was there that night. I was not. I was, in my house in Alabama, but still it's just, I think they're setting us up for this is how new crimes are going to go. You're the suspect. It doesn't matter what you say. It's just this is how we're going to do it from going forward.
Yeah, that's terrifying because then you start to bring in it's an entire rabbit hole that I don't probably need to tell many people about in here, but it goes back to that whole, to sum it up, like a social credit score with AI. Everybody's got a profile, and the likelihood ratio of, are you going to commit a crime if you cross over this street, right? And you're in this area and your DNA is in that area. It's this giant algorithm of percentage of you committing the crime that you could be. It's like, I don't know. It goes so deep. It gets so dark. It's so scary and so dystopic so quickly. And it's all within the grasp, if not already possible to be done if they wanted to.
And and I'm sure everybody here, probably every single person in the Hive, if they searched our Google history, they'd probably be like, oh, they are guilty 100%. I can't even tell you how many. I search things all the time on Google. I'm sure you do too. And it's like, if that's all it takes to go on is a touch DNA, being in the proximity of, not even directly at the house, but if your cell phone is in within 13 miles, plus your Google history says that you are researching Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer and all these other things, then it's got to be you. There's no doubt it can't be anybody else.
Right. Right. It's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? And then go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the water bottle analogy that you had made. I should dig back through the Discord and find that, because it's a very simple and like, whoa, I could see that happening type of analogy.
Right. And it's you weren't even doing anything. You were just riding home. You didn't know you were riding in the car with a crazy Uber driver. You know what I mean? You're just trying to catch a ride and not drink and drive. And, then all of a sudden, oh, well, we have your DNA in the car. Okay. Um, but and then Brian Koberger's autism, like they're using that. My son has autism too, and my niece has Asperger's, like one of the callers before. And they have no idea how to read facial cues at all. And they don't have the ability to have a normal conversation with somebody. For everything with them is not a filter. Okay, my niece will tell you straight to your face that you look absolutely ugly in whatever you're wearing, and she doesn't understand that that's not socially acceptable.
Right.
Like, lie, just tell them they look great. Now you just hurt them feel their feelings, but they don't get it. They don't have that. They have to be taught that. Like when someone says to my son, how are you today? He always says, fine, thank you. Even if he's not fine, thank you, that's just what he's been taught to say and respond. So if he actually is on the spectrum, then he's already socially awkward. And the fact that he would even come into contact with this many people at the same time, because in both of my son and my niece, they cannot stand multiple people in a room. They get very overwhelmed, especially if there's a mess, if they get things on them. Like my niece can't even eat Jello because she doesn't like the texture. So imagine there's blood and hair and all of these other things, like the likelihood of him being in there without having a total panic attack is very small.
Yeah, Polar Life Force brought up a good point too, and quite honestly, it could be that he's coming off as an asshole if you don't know him, right? I
Right.
mean,
And
he talks well enough that it's you don't really see, like, if you've never been around somebody like that, you probably wouldn't pick up on it. You know what I mean?
yeah, you automatically assume that they're weird,
Right. Or just
and
an
like,
a-hole. Yeah.
right, oh, he doesn't know how to talk, or he just stares, or because they don't really know what to say. And I think that one of the callers a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, she was saying, or I think it was a guy, and he said something about maybe he saw Maddie and said like, "Hey, here, have this for protection." While he was eating at her restaurant. I can't remember the exact call, but he said something like that. And that is so something that someone with Asperger's would do. And yeah, it sounds weird, but you know, i- it's just they just do that. They don't
Th-
have the same social, things that we have. They don't.
Totally agree. I'm around my cousin is I just it's always like people are like, "Oh, well, I have somebody that I can totally relate this to," right? And for some maybe that don't, they're like, "Well, that's not that legit, right? Because it's not Brian." But there are a lot of similarities with a lot of these conditions.
Hmm.
And fixating on stuff is huge. Very smart, very
Yes.
attentive to detail. And
Yes.
the other thing that I've noticed, I haven't heard many people say this. This could just be, again, with my cousin, very like he has noise canceling headphones almost at all
Hmm.
times. Like what do they call that? Like the overstimulation from noise and a
Yep.
lot of chaos, a dog barking, even if we're all cheering for, the Packers scoring a touchdown, he'll kind of instinctively do that. So there's so many things that you could argue don't match. So so many of those people that people know and have experienced an interaction with in real life that it doesn't seem like it would line up.
Well, one of the things that I know about people, because I was also a teacher for special needs children all the way through adults. I followed my son basically through school, and I had all kinds of kids. But the one thing that I have always that I find in common with kids with Asperger's or adults with Asperger's is they are wicked smart. Like my niece was reading full books at age 2 and
Mhm.
and telling me like a vacuum is a machine that's used to suck up dirt and other icky things. And I'm like, excuse me? You're two
Yep.
years old. Can we just go back to playing with Legos?
Yep.
You know? And so they're super smart. So it doesn't surprise me that he has or that he was going for a PhD or any of that stuff. But they have like OCD where everything has to be in a certain way. So the magnitude and the catastrophe, the chaos in this crime scene, it doesn't seem like someone with Asperger's or autism or anybody on the spectrum would even be okay in that kind of situation. Like you're one dude, there's 6 people, there's also a guy there. I mean, it just seems like a whole lot,
Yeah.
of overstimulation for them. Like I think that he would probably it would be more likely that he actually was going out and stargazing and didn't want to be disturbed.
I don't know if
Like
I don't know if this is something that it's very common for people to fix out. But when I heard the stargazing thing, and I don't know if I've ever said this, but the constellations are huge with
mhm.
my cousin specifically. And I know there's things you can get fixated on that's going to be different, but I didn't know if that's like a common thing for people that have that condition that might fixate on the stars. Like my cousin knows every constellation. We called him to let him know that we were pregnant. That we were having a baby. And
Mhm.
right away he was like, "Oh, you're having a Sagittarius and this rising and that." Like that was the first thing that he said. And,
I'm a
you know,
Sagittarius too. Hey.
yes, but like it was immediate. He's memorized every flag on the iPhone emoji board. Every flag you
Yeah.
point to one of them. He knows the capital in addition to that.
Yeah. And
It's crazy. It's
my
impressive.
my niece was fixated on all of the presidents of the United States. At like 4 years old, she could tell you the first George Washington all the way down to, I think it was Obama that was president at the time. But she could tell you every single one in order, how long they served, what years they served, if they were, how they died. I mean, everything, like everything. And I'm like, what do you, how? You know, I didn't even barely pass history in high school. I mean, really. So they, whatever is like interesting to them, that's what they hyper fixate on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His thing could be stars, you know, and maybe he likes it because it's quiet. You know,
That's a
think
great
about
point.
going out stargazing and you're overstimulated by being a TA and by being in school all day. And you're just like, you know what? I'm going to go out and look at the stars because I need to, you know, decompress. And the way all of us need to decompress. You work a hard day at work, you come home and you're like, can I just have 10 minutes, please?
Oh, yes.
You know,
for sure. For sure. Zach 44 actually said it's relatively common generally here in the Pacific Northwest, and that he's actually a part of stargazing groups locally. I think that's cool.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure where y'all are. I'm in Alabama, but we
He's
don't
out in
really
the Pacific
stargaze.
Northwest. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
But either way, I mean, I don't even think it's that unreasonable of an alibi. But it's like, okay, can you prove it somehow? A little bit. Your phone's conveniently off. It just seems to fall right into all the other stuff, though. About, of course, something that we would need to prove conveniently is also easily manipulated to look guilty. Do you know what I'm
Well, I
saying? From a
mean,
narrative standpoint.
yeah, from a narrative standpoint, but how many of us in here, I know I have done it when when I've had a hard day or a long day or whatever, I will turn my phone off or put it in airplane mode because I don't want to talk to anybody. That's it. I am emotionally, mentally, I am exhausted, I am spent. Please do not bother me. I'll turn my phone on when I'm ready to talk to you. You know, and if it's an emergency, other people in my house have a cell phone, they'll be able to get a hold of them. So if I'm doing something I love, like if I go to the nail salon, I don't want my children calling me talking about, oh, the dog pooped in the house or whatever emergency that I can't do anything about while I'm sitting at the nail salon. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I'll just turn my phone off. Or if I'm in the middle of massage, nothing kills a massage more than your cell phone going off and knowing it's one of your kids
I
talking
can
about
only
something that
imagine.
don't even
Yeah.
matter. You know?
I can only
So
imagine. I can only
and then
imagine.
yeah, and you will. They will come to you at the most inconvenient time with the most they think it is an emergency and it requires like your undivided attention and you're like, "Can I please we can address this is not necessary to address right now.
Mhm.
We can do this at a different time." But it doesn't surprise me that he would turn his phone off, especially if he were feeling overwhelmed or you know, maybe he just didn't want to hear from anybody. I mean, it is okay to turn your phone off. I know that we people don't do that typically because we are always connected, but it's okay to turn your phone off every now and then, you know.
Yeah, mine usually just runs out of battery. My mods know that. I'll send a screenshot and they'll be like, "Charge your damn phone, Birdie." But no, Beckstats, always great to hear from you. I'm gonna get to fight his frog hair, but thank you for the call.
Well,
And
I
go ahead.
just wanted to say one more thing, and it's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
And it kind of applies to our situation, especially here in the Hive. It's our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter.
Oh wow.
So as long as we are still talking about these things and saying, hey, this is not right, you know, then at least there's still a small voice. And no matter how much darkness is in the world, not there is no amount of darkness that can ever extinguish the light. So as long as one match is lit, even in a room that is completely dark, the darkness can never extinguish the light. But Martin Luther King Jr. said that
It's
our
powerful.
lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. And so I think it's great that you continue to do this and that we all continue to do this and that there's a group of us that are like, hey, okay, no. You know, it's when you talk to somebody who's like they're pro, you know, they're a guilter or whatever it is that they call themselves. I don't know. Once you start, it's automatically, you know, it's the society we live in. Automatically they say they don't want to talk to you. Oh, you're just stupid. Or, oh,
Right.
you're just, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Like, that's the main thing, and it's like, really, that's all you have to argue about? It's like when you argue with politics. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, you're just a liberal, or oh, you're just a conservative, or whatever, it's and they don't even want to talk to you about it. They just like, oh, you're just dumb.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you with facts because you're a conspiracy theorist. So as long as we keep doing this and keep talking, even if it's just a small light, but I mean, you've got people all over the world listening to you. So I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you, Bex Tats. And I agree. We just got to keep talking about it. We've changed a lot of people's minds just by talking about it, right? Just by talking about it and sticking to it. And so I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for the call.
You too. Thank you for being patient with my technology tonight.
No worries. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have Finest Frog Hair, and then I have some super chats. So I did not forget about those. I will get through those. I am going to try to wrap this up, though, in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're wondering, I mean, our call-in shows are always a little bit longer. I try to keep it about 3.5 hours, so we're a little bit over that. But I did have to take 2 dog on the roof breaks. But nonetheless, I'm sure this caller will wake us right on up. Finest Frog Hair, you are live. How are you doing?
Birdie, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, let me say first, Bird, let's back right up. I have a flickin' earwig, like a worm. Okay, I don't know anyone who enjoys going to the dentist or like that shaky shot. Let's talk about the guy in the biplane. Really? That's right up there. Right up there with the damn drill and the shaky shot. Help me out, Bird. There was a humming, may never go away. Not even kidding. That plane was out of control. I was reaching for my own oxygen before I even put some on the dog. And you know what, Bird? The dog is my best friend. I think maybe we had DC Cooper glitch in the Matrix. I don't know. Dog.
Was DC
might
Cooper
have been
a real
right
person?
there.
Was he real?
No, I think we might have had this like entity hop on in. You with me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, on a positive note, although I do still have the earworm, wig, whatever you call it, it's you hear it, Bert?
I hear it. I can still hear it humming in my ear, E-Potty.
Captain, do something to clip the off next time. Otherwise, the dentist and I aren't close. No. Biplane, Snoopy, whoever's on it, out. Okay, on a positive note, here we go. I love the Hive. Their hearts are so amazing. You guys feel my heart. When I'm in the Hive, I see us all doing a stadium wave. Bird, up with the arms. Let's go. Let's go. Woo-hoo! See it, Bird? Do you see it? Do you feel it? Yes.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Bird, you got it. You rocked it. What don't you rock? I'm telling you. Loved the dog tonight. Thank you for the appearance.
Yes.
Okay. You know why I love the Hive, fam? And let me bring it in with some energy. Whoop, whoop. There we go, Bird. Even if I share my theory and then I listen to everybody else's, I can still be open-minded and maybe I get a little bit of a lean, almost a stroke lean, because Bird, are we cats and where do we shit? Bird?
Outside the box.
On the
floor.
Yes, we on the floor, Bird. If I had a honky horn. I told you, I'm on the Intel computer tonight, so you can't see me. It just seems like there's this crazy human cutting through. That's right. It's me. I'm an orb. Okay. Let me tell you, though, here's something that stands out. Okay. Now we're on to a serious. Okay. It's incredibly heartbreaking to have your own child be murdered. I can never fathom this. No, my kids are still kicking. I would never want to even think of that, right? I find myself struggling to process how the Hive is so invested in this fight, chasing leads, pushing for justice, even harder than the parents themselves. It is truly shocking and difficult to comprehend. Hard for me to believe that money can change a parent. I don't care how much gold/green you offer me. I would chase down, hunt, and slowly torture the people that took my child out. One-way ticket, train station, gotta go. Right? Mm-hmm. Yet, sad reality, the years I worked in the field of crime, my heart would break every time that I had to deal with and treat these people like they were human. They were sadly more than a handful of parents completely turned on their children, having no heart. They were a complete narcissistic fuck, excuse me, Bird, who really didn't care and had no conscience or heart. Those were the ones you could look in their eyes and realize, oh my gosh, we've got a monster right there, the devil. I can see through him. I'm not joking. So now, after that, food for thought, which is so true. Where are the parents in all this? How much green could one get unless, like our Matrix man, they're still alive, could sell out to this shit? Really, Bert, come on. Nobody, no. And you're about to have another one. You're about to have the first one out of the egg. You'll know. You'll know, and you know now. You have pets. You're a dog lover, right? We wouldn't sell out on the frickin' dogs like these fools do. For fuck's sake, Bert, come on. Then let's talk about the CIs and protected people. Possibly, did the Popo choose their token CI ladies to be the ones who are scrumpable and moldable? You know what scrumpable is, Bert? It's a few words in one right there.
I don't know what the words are. Scrumpable?
Scrumpable. Okay, put an F in front of the scrump. Maybe a U?
Oh, they're F. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Whoa,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was not piecing that together at all. I was way off in my head. It's my bad.
Okay, I'm Mountain Time. You're Central Time. I'm a little earlier, Bert. Little earlier. I'm going to give you that one. Okay.
Yep.
But think about it. The reality is, CIs are rarely the cream of the crop. Law enforcement targets individuals who are vulnerable, pliable, facing legal pressures. Because these individuals are trying to work off charges, they are trapped in a deeply unequal power dynamic and are highly susceptible to coercion, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, we avoided using people this way because the agency often prioritized the information over the CI's well-being. I can handle that. I'm human. I can have it, right? And so at that point, seriously, I've witnessed too many CIs ending up dead, struggling with addiction, or reoffending. Once they've served their purpose, maybe scrumpable, scrump. Think about it, scrump. Once they get what they need, hard dick, no conscience. You got me, Bert?
I'm picking up what you put down, yes.
Okay, once they serve their purpose, they're frequently discarded. It's a systematic problem where individuals in power exploit vulnerable people because they view them as a moldable and expendable. Make sense?
Yep.
Which explains how, okay, lastly, and frustrating as it may be, even though we're still doing the wave, hold them up, Bird! Woo! Go, Bird. Jeez. Okay, here's this. And this is frustrating, but you got to just breathe with me and breathe through it. Bird, what do you have to say? I saw something coming in.
I'm just breathing.
Okay, Bird, get the zen on your face because here we go. Okay, my question is, if people at the highest levels of government are involved or overseeing investigations, who holds them accountable? And if the truth eventually comes out, how can the public trust it if there's no independent body with the authority to investigate and hold everyone, regardless of position, accountable? Help me out, Bird.
They wouldn't be able to. And that means that they get to run wild and free and do whatever they want.
And they know because the power within and with the families, ba-boom.
Yep.
But you know what, Bert? The Hive, you and I, we know the truth. God knows the truth, and they have a special place in hell. I'll just throw that out there. And we'll do the woo, put the wave up, Bert, while they're down there. And you know what? We're going to thank God because we're still kicking and we're still searching.
Well said. Well said.
Hey, Bert, love you like no other.
Right back at you, Finest Frog Hair. And I think, you know, the end call, bringing up the energy. It's always interesting. It's always funny. I appreciate you, Finest Frog Hair, as many in the chat do, and I hope you have an awesome night.
Hey, Frog loves the Hive. Frog loves you, and you know what? I can always pull up the rear. No worries.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being patient this evening, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Sleep well, Captain.
See ya. Cheers. Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying love you. Sleep well.
Oh, love you too, Finest Frog Hair. You have a good one.
You bet. I got you next Friday.
Love it. Love it. Talk to you then. Bye.
Night.
I felt bad that I hung up mid love you. Like, has anybody ever done that? I'll have to like call my wife back if she's like, if I thought she was just hanging up and then I hear look. And so anyways, Hive, great calls tonight. I'm gonna get through the super chats and thank you to everybody who did send that. It's a little bit tough I tried my best tonight and I still wasn't able to with the callers. I tried to address them in between, but I also like to get as many calls as possible. Lexa, welcome to Hive Plus. Beyond reasonable doubt said that the bracelet had to be cut off, referring to this one right here, which is also wild. If you have not seen that, look up here. This is outside the whites. It does seem to have some resemblance to Xana's bracelet. No doubt about that. That was kind of ironic, beyond reasonable doubt. And I said, no doubt about that. All right. It's getting a little bit late. Griffaholic said, thank you, HR. Go look and see. Shout out to Bellamicia. And thank you, Griffaholic, for the super chat. Pieces of April said, gift a membership to Lana, please. The membership gifts are random. As much as it would be awesome to gift specific people ones, that is not how YouTube works. And I also like seeing kind of who gets the memberships, although there are people that I'm sure are very deserving, and then somebody random could just get them. So, but that is how YouTube works. Tiffany said, I love the Hive. Thanks for all you do. And well, Tiffany, thank you for being a member of Hive Plus for 2+ months. Angel Heart, just on freaking fire tonight. I love it. Kara, the light after, said so much Hive to catch up on, but my ADHD. Top 3 of 5 must-watch vids from the last 1.5 to 2 weeks. Space on Discord to dive into. My brain thanks you in advance. Ooh, I hope you're still in here, Kara, the light after. I would almost leave that up to the Hive. I would say for the Discord, though, one of my favorite, I like the Hive Mind Finds, and I like the Idaho 4 case chat. As far as videos, I would say you're best off probably checking out the quick cuts, which for anybody that's not familiar, I do post 20-minute recaps of every live the following day. I'm trying to figure out a time as to when to post those. I've been saying that for a while, but I'm going to try to do noon. So it's like everybody knows the lives are at 7. I'm going to try to do noon. Everybody knows the quick cups will be up. Okay, so I'm working on that. Tracy, welcome to Hive Plus. Firefly, thank you for being a member for 2+ months. Said, what a great show every time. I appreciate every perspective and every call. I agree. There was a lot of different perspectives tonight, and I think it's healthy. It's good for us. Keeps us sharp. Hannah King said, Betsy Ross Americana, so actually sent a super chat to somebody else, said, we see what people are capable of, but it also gives you empathy and strength for yourself. Idaho 4 is personal to me as well. Too many, quote, friends not doing what I would have done to find my best friend's killer. This case has resonated personally with so many people. I mean, you hear it when they talk about Brian and the autism. You hear it about when you talk about if it's a child in their family that's been through a violent crime. And so I think Hannah had called in and had left an earlier comment too, but saying she's not necessarily defending DM, but just trying to explain what a reasonable reason could be. And we had a good conversation about it. I appreciated Hannah's call. Sinful Biatch 420 said, I think the Jack D call is someone torturing him with Kaylee's death. That's why he asked if there was a recording. Yeah, the recording comment that he makes is very strange. Some of these theories, and this is not necessarily just to you, Sinful Biatch, it's just they get so dark so quick. It kind of makes me uncomfortable thinking about it, but also just saying it. I've said that before, like saying some of the theories out loud, you just feel like, oh, like I can't imagine somebody being evil enough to call the ex-boyfriend, the recent ex-boyfriend of the person they're murdering, just so they can listen. Okie dokie, Lisa, thank you for the super chat. Said, do you think the guy who walked through with the ATF jacket was Brian? Now that would be a trip. Has anybody found that guy on camera yet? I mean, doesn't anybody think it's a little bit weird? We have all this body cam, all these photos, drone footage of the crime scene when it's going on. Anybody seen an ATF jacket? There's one at the grub truck, but I mean, seriously, that was just written off. So is the guy just making stuff up? Is he drunk? But I don't think he is. I just find that very strange that we don't see them. So it makes me wonder, was that at the time? Is that at a previous time? Were cops potentially already there earlier? And that's when it happened. And that was when it was in reference to. Tiffany Nicola 1396 said, I believe that Ethan was in bed before Xana got home and Xana walked in on the cleanup. One of my top theories is the escalation of some sort of medical emergency happening with Ethan. And I use that blanket statement, medical emergency, but I don't disagree that there was two separate events. And I wouldn't disagree that if there were two separate events, I think it's likely that Ethan could have been the first, I guess, the first piece of that to kind of kick off the other escalation stuff. Tiffany Nicola followed up and said, cops don't cover up for teenage murders. Teenagers, shut up. When people of power have all the power, money is power and fear is silence. That's true. I mean, you got to have a lot of money and a lot of power. The teenage murders that are random, yeah, not many people getting covered up for those, but a lot of people getting covered up for when they have powerful parents and their parents have a lot of money. Thank you for the super chat, Tiffany. Radine, gosh, between you and Yvonne, the names, I apologize. Thank you for the super chat. Said, unfortunately, everything we are watching about the crime scene is tampered videos and reports that we are using to figure this out. Cover up of a cover up that we will truly never know the truth. Well, the cover up of a cover up is absolutely spot on. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with everything being manipulated. No doubt about that. Pineapple Diana said, why check Snap Local after seeing X on the floor? Did they say they checked? When you say Snap location. Yeah, I've always thought that the Snapchat location thing was a weird way to know something's wrong because they didn't move. Like, who's to say their phone wasn't just sitting on a nightstand the whole time? Tiffany, again, geez, thank you so much. Said a guilty person offered $50,000 for an interview will take $50,000. An innocent person can't give details they don't know themselves. For $50,000, he would give up real details. He can't tell what he doesn't know. That's a great point. It's a great point. But if you're trying to get the truth out there and they're still paying you to talk and tell the truth on their station first. But I see that, like, more times than not, I absolutely see the point of this. Bextats said it keeps kicking me out of StreamYard. Oh, well, we got to figure it out, Bextats. And followed up and said, you are henceforth known as Bird. Love it. Love finest frog hair. Thank you, Bextats, for the super chat. Great call. Thriving in Chaos said, hi, Hive. I'm catching up. Love the call-in shows. Absolutely. I love them as well. And thank you for being a member of Hive Plus, Thriving in Chaos. Angel Heart 7926 said, sleep well tonight, my loves, and try to be easy on yourself. Maybe you didn't do everything you wanted to today, but there's always tomorrow. Take the love from our Hive family and let wonderful dreams seep into your soul. Well said, Angel Heart. Again, just making it rain in the freaking Hive. Thank you so much. Very, very kind of you and everybody that sent a super chat or became a member this evening. Thank you to everybody that did call in. As a reminder, no war room this Saturday. I hope everybody has a fun and safe weekend. And Hive, I will be back for an epic week. We got some great stuff lined up. Don't forget that on Monday, we're going to be looking at Detective Payne driving Koberger's route, as they say. A lot of interesting audio caught on the body cam and great perspective with the dash cam and out the right side window of the car as well. So, Hive, sleep good. Thank you, everybody, for the calls. I will see you all on Monday. Cheers, everybody.